like scheduled something. So let's see. Let's see if this is actually happening. It's in broadcast, first stream. Okay, cool. There we go. That's working. I don't want coming through there, which I think that changes once I go in. Okay, sick. Got that going. The live chat's pulled up. Where's my mouse? Okay. I am in virtual world. Let's go. Let's see, there's Kathmandu. Lukla's here. What's going on, Autumn Connor 1? Who are you? Are you a new viewer? What's this name? Channel activity. No? Welcome. Not a name I had seen before. I didn't know if it was one of my regulars that switched their name or what, but either way, welcome. Okay, let's see. Last time we ended with the A-star, we started in the 206L, I believe. So, and we used our 225. The thing, I want to do the 160 next time. So I think today we should probably do 407 would be cool. I haven't done 407 in a while, although it's a very soft feeling helicopter. We haven't done a 500 in a bit. Their 500E feels weird at speed. These 206s are kind of broken because I haven't fixed it yet. I still need to put more off-hour time in that. And we're in an elevation here. Saving back. What's our... That's a 5300. The airport information here, it's... You're not going to give me details? Flight conditions. Let's go and set everything for live. Either way, Autumn Connor, hope you're doing good. Let's see. That's not a real helicopter. Get out of here. I kind of want to throw the 500C in there. It's fun. It's loud, though. I feel like we did the 145. Didn't we do the 145 recently? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here. 160s next time. Let's do 407. Configure. I do like this color. That's kind of what we do every time. The bright green highlight, viz color, whatever, always gets me. Load her up in fuel. We got plenty of power at this altitude. We'll manage mass once we get in. Okay, so the place I'm looking for... I don't exactly know where it's at because the borders here or whatever aren't very good for showing borders. Well, let's see what's there. Trying to look at so Kathmandu's down there, so we're way up from Kathmandu. We're looking at like a big river going down. So I'm thinking somewhere in here. in the mountains. Okay. Big river coming out of the mountains. I think this is what we're looking at. No, that's not it. Tanakpur. Okay, so we're close. So I'm basically looking up here. Batiri. I don't remember where I said we're going in this one. Did I put something in the description? Also, sorry for anybody watching this. Not a lot of pre-planned. P-A-T-A-N. Can I just... Oh, that's closer than I expected. Although I don't think it's the right airport that I want to go to. P-O-K-H-A-R-A. I am definitely not up. P-O-K-H-A-R-A. Okay, so that's Nepal. Okay, so that's like center of Nepal there. Dorpatan. D-H-O-R. P-A-T-A-N. Okay, I want to keep going further than that. B-A-J-U-R-A. Going further than Bajara. Batiti. I think that's what I said we were going. No, I said Patan. What the hell's Patan? Whatever. I say we just pick something in that direction to go. This is becoming too much of a pain. There's too many stupid little places out here. It looks like we're still fighting time a little bit. Okay, cool. So we're going to go past fuel up points. So we'll have to pick a midpoint somewhere. Here, I like you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Add. That will get us down there. I'm pretty happily up there. We may stop before that. We'll see. It's all up in the air. Anyways, sorry for all of that crap. And we're probably going to be following a different way out of here because that's a lot of elevation we got to get. Whatever. Let's do it. Water bottle. I definitely did not say to go here. That is not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be turned off. Okay, try again. Okay, this seems better. Hopefully jumpstart a few people in. Sorry for anybody that's sat through all this. Know it's a pain. I don't like it either. I don't know any of these words. I'm completely unfamiliar with the, oh, I don't like that. Completely unfamiliar with all of the language and geography out here. So that just makes it harder to figure out where I'm going. Plus, this mountain range is huge. Shift C. Nothing to do out here. Yeah, so the mountain range here is huge as well, so that does not help any. Let's see. Alt forward. What is the altitude here at Lukla? (9,383 feet). Cool, so let's go and plug that into the altimeter here. Cool, I like that. So we got everything going on here. Radar altimeter, cool, we'll deal with that later. Pedal stop, sick. Boost transfer, avionic master, gyro. Anyways, battery on, cool. Strobe on. Horn mute. Cool. All those lights are doing their thing. Got that off. Got the governor switch turned off for right now. I'm going to get fuel pumps on. Generators, good. All that's good. Now there's a weird thing with this one, where I think I should be able to just click it here on my cyclic once. We're going to watch. NG's moving. Okay, that's good there. I'm gonna go make sure our sound's working. Don't need logo lights. Flight all the way up. Everything's slowly picking up. The sound is weird with this one. What? Really? Let's see if I can pause and come back. If it doesn't do sound, we're going to leave this one. Because that's crap if it doesn't. There we go. It's just quiet below a certain rotor RPM apparently. Engine anti-ice on, cyclic centering, whatever, that's not a thing. It's not real. Landing lights are on. Everything looks good. Pull up my tablet EFB here. Actually, I'm going to put in some weight for us, too. I literally clicked 200. I don't know where 175 came from. That's crap. Weird. Up. What? $175. Okay, cool. I guess. Load immediately. Whoa! Not expecting you to be in my face. I'm gonna get rid of you. I don't like you. I'm gonna put somebody in the back though. Okay, that works. You're on the floor. Buckle up, I guess. The land, lock in, chat. Assalamu power bottoms. That's a very hard statement to come out with immediately like that, Sean. Although we're here for it. Okay, so we're basically doing a 270 heading. We should be able to make it over that. That's cool. We're full on fuel. We are now. Slowly pick up. We're very high altitude right here. Very soft controls in this helicopter. We're gonna fly down the ditch here a little bit. I'm pretty sure I fly with the boost transfers on, because I'm pretty sure this thing will shut off on me if it doesn't. Fuel pressure normal. Before takeoff, engine anti-light radio, throttle, fuel quantity. Take off collective direction. Cruise, VNA, fuel quantity. Boost transfer switch on. Left and right. Caution lights off. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. You will hit with harder openings in the coming streams. Good. Treat it like Jocko. Hard openings in your streams? Good. People saying mean things? Good. Okay, now we're just going to slowly start working our way over these. I can make this peak up here. We have a good climb rate. We can set this at like 500 feet per minute climb, and we're still barely torquing anything. We're at 47% torque. A little out of trim. That's fine. Hello, 5 people in here. Hope everybody's doing all right tonight. It is President's Day. Thank you for being here on a busy holiday. I know everybody was extremely into doing whatever President's Day people do. Yeah, we're not going to go up there. Not worth it. Low T. Good. Means you get TRT. I went and got blood tested not that long ago, but it was something where I didn't think about it until like the day where I was like, I wonder what my levels are. And I just kind of like did a walk-in thing, and they're like, so have you eaten today? I was like, yeah. They're like, yeah, you need to come back and do this again whenever you haven't eaten and consumed things so we can get a good baseline. So I need to figure that out and actually go get checked. I'm not saying I'm against TRT. You're cutting into your FDR time? Do you just have a Franklin Delano Roosevelt thing? Because I'm assuming that's what FDR means. Also, somewhere back that way is Mount Everest. We did an attempt at that on the last Around the World stream. If you missed it, go back and find it. It's near the end of the last Around the World, I think episode 58. But yeah, I'm not against TRT, but I'm scared about it because I know if you become dependent on it, it can interfere with your body's natural cycle. And I would hate to lose the ability to naturally produce testosterone. So if I were to get a reading that said it was low, I would definitely look into ways to change my lifestyle, get rid of, if it's my energy drinks that I'm doing, if it's the yogurt I eat every night. New deal, daddy. Is our greatest Israel. You looking for a ban from chat there, Sean? We've had the same president for the last freaking 4. Mr. Netanyahu. And if somehow the IDF is watching this, you know where to find me. But anyways, yeah, I think I'd try boron first. I've heard that. But also, boron sounds fucking scary. So I don't know how to go about doing that. I hear boron and I think borax, like the powder that you put on whenever you're doing like forge welding and stuff like that to prevent oxidation. And like that's just where my mind goes because I assume it's some sort of same properties or same chemicals one way or the other. So that's something that I'm wary of. I know it works, I really need to make sure I'm happy with what the production of it is. Currently I'm finishing up a bottle or cycle of the Combined Sigma, which is just like a what's it called? Supplement. Take the vitamins, there you go, you get it. I wonder where this little helipad is down here. It says there's one. Oh, okay, just a little mountain helipad. Which I've been taking that couple of pills a day or whatever just to, because I've been pushing harder on workouts here recently whenever I do have time to work out. So it's just something to kind of keep my drive up more in that. It's not the bottom of the ocean, but it's close. So it is hyaluronic acid until you learn it's used in skincare, and you can take it for joint health. Yeah, I mean, words are scary. It's just like the people that make the entire list of whatever chemical ingredients make up an apple, and it's like, you're eating all this stuff and it's horrible for you, but it's just an organic apple where they just break down whatever the molecular level is of whatever makes up an apple. Yeah, so I'm finishing up the Sigma now. I'm going to, within 2 or 3 days, I'll be weaning off of that bottle completely. And I'll be getting back into zinc with quercetin and black ginger. Which, honestly, I've felt more in my mentality and in my body taking black ginger than I have taking different supplements. So that's something to think about for anybody that's looking for advice from some guy sitting in a blue light generator in his room flying a helicopter around. Speaking of helicopters, I did take the R44 out for the first time this week. I sold a spotting scope that I had. Good reveal right there. Sold a spotting scope that I had for $600-ish or so. And I said, okay, I'm going to turn that into an R44 flight because they're like $580 an hour when you buy in bulk. So if you do a 10-hour block rate, it's like $580 an hour, including the instructor. I just bought a single hour because I don't have the $3,800 to toss away right now with work being as slow as it is. So I just did 1 hour. I don't know what the cost was per hour, but it ended up costing like $840 for the 1.3 hours that we took it out, I think, or $800. Anyways, whatever it was, the 44 is not cheap. It is something I want to get rated on, which means I need 3.7 more hours per the SFAR 73. After that, I'll be good to fly solo if the school's given the sign off, or the sign off, or like, okay, cool, good, we trust you in the 44 sort of thing. My next official licenses that I'm chasing is instrument and commercial. Instrument can happen generally during this entire time that I'm chasing commercial and everything else. So it's not like I need to get that done now. It's just a good thing to have because it puts you in a lot of good practices for everything else. So yeah, instrument, soonish. It's much easier in the 44, but the 44 is so much more expensive that it makes it like, okay, cool, well, I'll do the lessons I need to in the 44 that make it easy, but for a lot of my training flights and stuff, I'm still probably going to lean to doing it in the R22 just because it's half the price. Getting into some sort of airspace thing up here. What's going on, Mr. Georgia Plane Spotting? Good to see you here, homie. Dude, I gotta say, your pictures and videos, mods are shields now? Is that what it is? Oh, nice. It was a little wrench or something before, right? Well, see, there's no problems in this stream, so you don't have to fix problems, you just gotta block the haters. That's the big thing. But yeah, so 44 flight went good. It felt exactly how I was expecting it, but also nothing how I was expecting it. It's much more reminiscent to flying the simulator here. It is a hydraulic cyclic and a hydraulic collective. So it's something on the 22 where hopefully one of you two can ride in the 22 soon with me. But the 22, I mean, you're putting a lot of effort into cyclic and collective feet. You really don't notice that much. It's pretty easy to operate. But cyclic and collective, you're really putting effort into. With the 44, I basically just, if you look in your screen, top left, Tom, what's going on? 44 fund, hell yeah. Thank you, sir. Australian $7.99. I don't know how much that is American, but either way, dude, it's greatly appreciated. Even though it's funny money. Hell yeah, I really do appreciate it. But yeah, 44, which I was talking to Tom about it on Instagram after I did it. But yeah, like, I mean, I basically, like, if you're looking at the webcam thing on the top of your screen, hello, I really just like rested my hand on the seat and I could do the collective just with my fingers, you know, and you put 1 or 2 fingers on the actual throttle grip itself and 2 on the handle, so that way you're not whiskey throttling it if something happens. Oh yeah, your photos and videos, dude, they look so much better now. Like it's either you getting little bits of equipment and stuff as time goes on, like you said, the new tripod's helping out a lot. But just like framing and the composition of a lot of the photos and stuff, it looking really, really good, dude. I'm so excited to see them growing. But yeah, 44. Easy to fly. I was very timid on the power. It doesn't have a lot of power. R44, or the 22, is 124 horsepower, 131 like takeoff power. The 44, you have a much bigger vacuum gauge allowance, manifold pressure gauge allowance that you're allowed to play with. So I don't know how much y'all remember, but whenever I do the little 22 flights, one thing that I look at is whenever you're adding collective, we're watching our manifold pressure gauge, which is usually like right here somewhere, because this is usually RPM and the manifold pressure's usually here. Anyways, trying to learn to edit. Once I get the Canon R7, they'll be so much better. Oh yeah, dude. And I know they have a lot of good stabilization built into those cameras as is. Stabilization, better resolution, color sciences, and everything on top of the tripod. It's going to look good. I'm excited to see it growing and changing and developing. Let me get this off of that. Okay, cool. But yeah, so we're always watching the manifold pressure gauge in the 22 whenever we're adding power. And that becomes really, really important in something like a turbine like this, because if you over-torque it, huge engine problems. It's not that big of a deal in a gasoline engine one, but you still need to be very conscious of it. But in the 22, it's very underpowered. The 44, it's only 205 horsepower, I think, with more in takeoff power or whatever. But it's like a 2.8 inches of manifold pressure allowable max takeoff. So like in the 22 of it said my cruise max sustained power was, let's say, 22 inches of manifold pressure. I think it's a 0.9 allowance that you have, so it'd be 22.9 inches of manifold pressure. In the 44, if it said 22, it would be 24.8 inches of manifold pressure that I could pull. So there was a much bigger allowance there of what you could do with it that I just didn't, because I was so used to not going too much over what the allowed pressures were. Also, if you ever spot a Birmingham Shuttlesworth, do not go to the closest Circle K to the airport. I got Skittles that went expired October last year. Good. Art and War has been educating you about camera stuff. Seems intense. Dude, I haven't listened to Art and War in a while. I listen to podcasts when I drive. Work has been relatively slow, all things considered, on Will Trent this season. 1, maybe 2 days an episode. And an episode takes like 7-8 days to film, which is like almost 2 working weeks. So I haven't been driving a whole bunch. I was driving a lot this past week. Had 7 days in a row, basically, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I got a lot of listening done then. I've had a lot of little things going on. So I re-caught up with the helicopter podcast, which development on that here shortly. And then I'd been listening to Rogan because I'd got backlogged on Rogan. His episodes are usually 3 hours each, so that's trip up, trip back, and trip up again. And I usually listen to the science-y sort of ones on there, because comedy ones don't really tickle my pickle that much. Either way, I just haven't had the time to really catch up on podcasts. But now that Helicopter Podcast has caught back up on, I may start switching between Art and War and Rogan to re-catch up on that. I was shouted out again. Yeah, tracking's a big thing, which with your newer tripod it will do good. Eventually you'll get a fluid head tripod thing, and it helps so much more even past that. Oh, dude, I'm so excited for the Squirrel. There's a very solid chance I'll be flying that B3E. Soon-ish, I was offered to do a ferry flight with the main stunt pilot dude. He's like, hey, if you can get to Huntsville, you can ride with me all the way back, but I'll let you fly the entire time. So it would have been a good 1.2 hour flight. Probably less than that, because we'd probably do like a 120 knot cruise. Yeah, so that would have been a thing. I'm excited to do that, which he seems interested in letting me do. I think the H-145 should be getting to the airport tomorrow. And when I say the airport, that private strip, I posted pictures on my Instagram of that strip, I think. I don't know. Anyways, it's the movie ranch that these people own. It has a grass strip and a couple of hangars. But that's where the 125 is parked. We're going to have a 145, and I think it's a D3. So finished drum, 5-blade, all the new stuff. And then on the 24th, we have a Black Hawk, and I believe it's a Lima model that's going to be showing up as well. So I've got a good chance of getting in the 125, the Squirrel. I've got a good chance of getting in the 145. And Black Hawk, probably not. Understandable. 50-hour pilot. You know, like it'd be a huge thing to get into a Hawk at 50. But also that would probably mean I would be one of the lower hour pilots to ever be an SIC in a Hawk. So that would be sick if I could pull that off. I was kind of hoping, like I did my R44 flight strategically. The VAI Verticon used to be the Helicopter Expo thing. It's going to be in Atlanta this year, which is just an hour from me. The ticket to get in is like $700 for 3 days. But if you are a student somewhere, the ticket to get in is $70 for 3 days. So they would have given me the student pass anyways, but I didn't want to seem like I was using the school, like, hey guys, give me a student pass or whatever. So I booked the 44 transition and intro to instrument thing. Yeah, so I'll be at Helicopter Expo. VAI, Verticon, same thing. I prefer Helicopter Expo, but apparently they're trying to cover all vertical flight things, so unmanned, drone, blah blah blah, any of those. Do I feel faster right now? For 1045. Okay, cold timer's still good. See, I was shouting at a recent SCP Black Meridian episode. Yeah, I need to tell him he still has my freaking clicker. I completely messed up the Global X 820. The video was a lot smoother thanks to the tripod. I was really struggling with the tracking. Yeah, I saw it on Instagram, and my phone apparently doesn't cache things very well, even though it's a new Galaxy S25. But there's a lot of videos where it loads like 5-10 seconds of, and then it just doesn't do any more. So I saw like the first 5 or 10 seconds, and I want to say I saw wheels up, but after that it just stopped playing, and I've tried like 10 times to refresh the video and it didn't, so I need to go back and check. And I'll especially check it on YouTube once it comes in, or once we're done with this and I start going through my YouTube queue tonight. But yeah, I was going to work with them on whatever their last one was, whatever the last SCP movie was, if their whatever had reached a certain goal. But they had all these different people that were pitching in and helping and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, cool, you can pay Matt the Armor X amount of dollars to come do whatever. Or we have these people with these guns anyways, they're already blanked. We'll do this. We're all cool gun guys that are doing it anyway, so we can just kind of police ourselves. So that's what they ended up doing. And I don't blame them. I'm expensive. I'm not gonna hold it against Evan. And it's not even Evan that's doing it. Steven's kind of broken off, and it's probably Steven that was on the podcast that wasn't. Either way, I don't blame him. Do the smart thing, save the money, because you try to pay me my rate, then you're losing. For how long that they were filming, they'd be losing a couple of $1,000s, and that couple of $1,000s could go to food or go to location rental or go to so many other things that they needed when they could solve the problem. So, yep, either way, cool. Yeah, 44, super cool. It's nice compared to the 22. One, controls are easy, so you're not manhandling everything the entire time, which is refreshing, because the 22 is almost like driving an old go-kart, where you get off and your hands are just vibrating because it's so buzzy. I enjoy it. It's not that bad. I enjoy the extremely direct connection to the cyclic and the collective. Everything feels very mechanical, and it's very, to quote the helicopter podcast, it's like putting on a pair of pants when you get in it. You hop in and you just kind of feel like you're a part of the helicopter, and you can melt into it, and it's very easy to fly when you're able to mix into it. They said Black Meridian cost a total of like $4K to make. Yeah, they're definitely on the budget side. The thing I'm working on right now, where that we have the, believe it or not, with the A-Star, the 145, and the Blackhawk, it's a very budget thing. It's a self-funded by these people. And apparently, what it is they are some contractors, like the movie War Dogs, and while they were doing all the contracting work, they built a whole bunch of crazy stories, like War Dogs. And this is them trying to make a production about all the stories and stuff that they wanted to do, or all the stuff that they did. Of course, they have to change names and places on some of these things, obviously, just because of, the nature of everything that they did. But, I just turned off engine anti-ice in case anybody was curious. But yeah, it sounds like a cool thing. They have a lot of cool strings to pull, with all these different people that they know. So that's how we were able to get the 125 for the price of gas, the Blackhawk for the price of fuel, and I think the 125 and the 145 belong to these people that we're making the story about, so that helps out a lot. So they're fronting whatever the, I'll say, like depreciation type cost with it, or operational cost. A lot of Blackhawk from Augusta recently. Yeah, because I know you did 4 yesterday, another 4 to 6 days. I was about to say you had either 4 or 6 yesterday, but it was 4. Yeah, Hawks are cool. Very, very cool helicopters, and I do wish that it was more of a normal or acceptable thing to bring those into the civilian world. Right now, with certain regulations that exist, if you want to have a Blackhawk in the civilian world, it has to be registered as a restricted category aircraft, which means you can really only do the jobs that it was assigned to do, whether it's like a utility type work or whatever. It has to be an approved thing, only required crew, etc., etc. So somebody like Dave Sparks, when he got his Heavy D, it was a big thing because he got it registered as experimental at first. And these things cost like $30,000 to $40,000 an hour to operate. Ish. I don't know the exact numbers. So I think it was too expensive for him to really keep experimental. So I think he has gone through the process of re-registering it as a restricted category, so that way they can put it to work doing stuff utility-wise. And I want to say that he actually bought another Hawk with somebody so they could upfit his to a Lima model. Sure, as they replace it. Yeah, you would think so, but I mean, I think the same thing happens with Hueys and stuff, because you really don't see Hueys out there except for them doing work. Like, you don't see many privately owned Hueys, and if they are, there usually is like a restricted category thing where people are doing something, or like very rarely do you see experimental, but that would be somebody like Army Aviation Heritage Foundation, or somebody like that doing it as like a museum piece that they can fly and give rides and stuff in. So it's rare that you see it. They're out there. Hueys are out there. If you buy a 212 just from the factory, you can, but nobody really wants to buy a 212 or 412 just because they're expensive. And most people who do it are business stuff. So like the private hands want to get stuff on surplus because the surplus is cheaper to an extent. Of course, maintenance and stuff can bring cost way up. But anyways, people bitch about Heavy D, and I'm like, why are y'all bitching about him using his helicopter as an experimental class? You should be supporting him doing that in experimental. Yeah, there's some things he does. Lower passes flying, they're not policing the people in the back because there's some people that aren't buckled up sometimes. There's things he's done that's sketchy, and I'm not going to stand up for that. The one I will stand up for, though, they had his boat thing, and they had people approaching from the rear. And people are like, oh my god, you approached a helicopter from the rear, that's horrible. It's like, one, everybody was briefed beforehand to stay low, and two, the tail rotor's taller than what you are above the ground. So unless you're jumping, you're not catching a Black Hawk tail rotor. Sorry. I mean, there's not really a need to do the Huey. They have the civilian version already, yeah. I feel like there's going to be a huge cultural change for that to happen in the space to make FAA consider change like that. It's happened before with the FCC and amateur radio, but obviously different. Yeah, it needs to be a huge change, but there's so many people that are, which there's a meme page that I really enjoy, Type Zero Heli. A lot of good jokes, points out a lot of hypocrisy. Solid page, I've messaged him a handful of times, solid dude. But a lot of times, like, usually does it with social media people, he'll reshare one of their stories or something and put the clown emoji or something over it. And one of them was with he does it with Heavy D a lot, because again, Heavy D does a lot of weird things. But he did it with Matty LP, the dude who flies the little R-22 places. And he had posted a video recently where he flew it somewhere to get coffee. And of course, this is a place that he's scouted beforehand. He got permission to land. It was all above board. But the meme page guy put the little clown thing there. And I'm like, why aren't you supporting this? Like, this is somebody doing exactly what every single kid in the world wants to do. I can't think of like any cool kid or like an adult man who's relatively into aviation or helicopters or whatever that would not want the ability or opportunity to have a helicopter to go do errands in. Like, yeah, obviously he's doing it for some social media clout, but it's kind of the same thing with the suppressor world. Like, a lot of people bought suppressors for firearm stuff because we wanted to make it common use. Even though we didn't want to support the $200 tax stamp, I didn't mind paying it because I use them a lot. I share it with people a lot. The more people I can get using it and seeing it and buying their own, the closer it becomes to common use. If we have more people out there flying helicopters for fun, not just for work, then like, cool, maybe little heliports will open up in different towns or spots where people are allowed to come land, and we can go do things like go out to eat and not have to land at an airport. And it becomes less weird and less taboo because it's normal at that point. Like, why can't we do that? Why isn't that allowed? Why are we shunning that behavior when really we should be embracing it because he's doing exactly what we all want to do? Just like Heavy D with the Black Hawk, why are we shunning him for doing this and not just saying like, hey dude, I support what you're doing, but you need to be more careful about who you put in the back, to where they're not going to put themselves in a dangerous situation. Or, hey dude, we like what you're doing, but just know that even though you're trying to make this common use, you still have to play by the rules. So don't fly your Black Hawk over heavily populated people and things and vehicles and stuff. Also, I believe this is Kathmandu underneath of us here, but it is just a foggy mess. So we're going to keep moving past it. I'm not really looking to do an IFR dip through Fog World down there. Let's just see. Yep. There's an airport down there. I can't see it. I'm not going. We have plenty of fuel. Yeah, we've only used 100 liters out of 800, so we're going to keep pushing. I'm going to turn our course to the right because we don't need to take that mark anymore. I just did that to really get us out of the taller mountains over there. Very true, and that's what it will take. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I would love to purchase an R22. I would love to purchase an R44, especially because I'm 195 pounds, and if I want to go take one of my friends, like, I'm very, very weight limited for what I can put for weight and balance on at least the 22s that we have. I don't know, there's different ones that maybe balance out a little bit more. They put a weight limit in the seats of 240 pounds, but I've yet to see somebody above 200 really get in one of those and fly. It's doable, don't get me wrong, it's just you don't see it. It puts the weight really, really far forward. But either way, it's like 22 would be sick, because I love flying the 22. It's fun. 44 would be cool, because then I can take a few of my friends who are all over 200 pounds and go and do stuff. Or it's like, cool, we want to go shooting one day. Me and my freaking hop in there and toss a couple of rifles in the back and fly to the range. So, like, I'd really love a 22 or a 44, especially a 44. And with that, I want places to go. Like, if you see me get one, you know, a field or room or space, or maybe like a block over, maybe there's a field. And I've got all these places marked. And I've pre-scouted, at least with Street View, as much as I can. Power lines, you know, roads, people, places, obstacles, kind of pre-scouting approach paths. I know which way the winds are usually going in these areas. And, like, I'm marking all these out because if I have a helicopter, I don't want to just use it to park at an airport or park at home and take people up and take people down. You know, I want to use it as a car. Stream cut out for anyone? Not for me. I've been here the whole time. Yeah, I want to use the helicopter as a car or a commuter if I can. You know, if we're filming something and we're working on a farm or something like that somewhere that has a lot of property where we're parking, like, I'd love to call ahead and get permission to land behind the house. Sure, it's going to cost, talking about depreciation and stuff, R44 cost per hour is $300 something. And then on top of that, you have insurance and fuel and everything else. You know, it's a $400, $500 an hour thing to fly. But if it's something that I'm going to be flying anyways, why not use it for things like that? If I'm going to be building the hours anyways, why not use it for going somewhere? Why not use it for taking the friends out to some cool steakhouse that I found that has a place to park next to it? Why not? Why are we frowning upon that sort of thing? Because that's the world I want to live in. I want to live in a world where I can hop in my aircraft and go somewhere with people where it's just not a job. Because I enjoy aviation. So yeah, that's my rant on that. Love that dude's meme page. But also it's like, hey, why not, instead of just complaining about everything and trying to get everybody in trouble, why not supporting it, offering suggestions on how to change it for the better to where maybe it can work out better and we can get more people interested. Weird suggestion. Who knew? Well, I just refreshed mine in case there was something wrong. That way I could see it. So yeah, that would be neat. It'd be cool. But what do I know? Which, don't get me wrong, helicopters for work's a cool thing. Helicopters have a hand at a lot more stuff than what people realize. But, so do trucks. Like, there are so many pickup trucks out there that do so many things, but guess what? A lot of people still drive a pickup truck every day. It seems like you get aviation one step in the right direction, and it will progress quickly. Look at us going from $200 tax stamps to affordable belt feds so fast. True. Speaking of affordable belt feds, what is FRT people? What are them? Rare breed. What are they doing? Why? So for those of you who don't know, which it looks like it's just me, Sean, and George spotting in here right now. But for anybody watching in the future, there is a trigger type that you can put in, started out in AR-15s, and now it's kind of migrated into everything else. It's called a forced reset trigger. So by law definition, an automatic trigger is a firearm that will fire more than one shot in succession with the single actuation of a trigger. So there's a few volley fire guns where it's like shoot two barrels at the same time. Whatever, not talking about those. Fully automatic, pull down the trigger and just the act of holding it back fires a stream of bullets. So this company called Rare Breed came out with a thing called a forced reset trigger. And what it does is when you pull it back, you don't pull back with full force, you pull it back with medium force, whatever, normal trigger pull force. And as the gun fires, the bolt will move backwards, and as the bolt moves backwards, it pushes your finger and the trigger back forward. And when the bolt closes, it's ready to fire again, and if you maintain that pressure, it'll click back again. So your finger is legally moving every single time. The gun's just helping you reset the trigger each time. A forced reset trigger. And obviously it does a very good job of rapidly increasing the fire rate of firearms, and they've been adapted to just about every platform that you can imagine. And if they don't have one there is somebody working on it, because it's a cool idea. It plays around and it's fun. You know, like full auto is neat. The only times it's really used in anger is somebody like a gangbanging situation where they use switches that they're just buying on Temu anyway, so they're not really using these workaround parts. But anyways, so ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, which really they're the BATFE, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. They're seemingly doing what they were told to do, but they seem a little too happy to do it. So yes, but also no. So anyways, they got in this huge legal thing with the ATF. But like I said, they're not a three-letter agency. They want you to think they are, but they're really just a whole bunch of pusses. BATFE. They can kiss my ass. Because obviously the ATF did not like this company pushing out something that pretty accurately recreated a fully automatic firearm, but working around their loopholes. So they did everything to say these things are banned. They went to companies that were making knockoffs and to Rare Breed. They were demanding customer things. They were going to customer doors saying, like, hey, you bought one of these, you need to turn it in. And huge fiasco for the past few years. Anyways, the entire gun community got behind Rare Breed, and like a National Association of Gun Rights, and there's a few other advocacy groups, not really the NRA. NRA sucks. Killer Be Killed, what's going on, dude? Hope to see you. Dude, did you change your thing to your dog? Yeah, you did. Was it Tyrell? It's not Tyson. Yeah, hope to see you again soon. Let me know. We'll do Saturday lunch or something because you're in my area. But I'm working Saturday like 4 in the afternoon or something. So we'll see if we can do something then. But dude, much appreciated. Got all that green money. But yeah, so they if anybody doesn't know, he's a dude that's a tyrant, that's it. I knew it was Ty something, but more like an E or I sound on the end. But yeah, he works in film industry with me. He's on the show that I'm currently on. Good homie. I met him a few years back. I think Till was the first thing we worked on together, maybe? Either way, you have my number. Text me whenever things... What's your schedule look like this week? Because I'm not doing anything the rest of the week. So if you want to hit lunch or sometime this week, let me know. Tomorrow I'm going out to Noonan, but any other day, Wednesday, Thursday, probably Friday, I'm clear. Anyways, so the huge legal battle and the entire gun community got behind rare breed firearms. Because we all see the legality, like, hey, this is a legal thing. We played by your rules, and we invented something that gives us what we want. And now y'all are complaining about this, so we're going to fight. Because if they win that, they can say, like, hey, cool, we don't like 30-round magazines. Hey, we don't like pistol braces. Hey, we don't like you being able to put a foregrip. Hey, there's a whole bunch of very, very shady ways that they go about trying to change all these rules for everybody, which is just not cool. So anyways, the entire gun community is behind them. Don't get me wrong, there's a few like older dudes who are like, oh, you don't need an AR-15. They can die off at this point, you know, they're old. And anyways, any sensible gun person was fully behind this company. I even had an NAGR membership because that membership would go directly into paying for lawyers and legal fees for the rare breed thing. And I know many, 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 many people who were there doing that. So like I said, the entire community was behind this company for this. And they won. They won, which is phenomenal because that opens it up for everybody. As soon as that cleared, there were 10, 20, 30 companies that immediately dropped their own FRTs for different things. Whether it be like AK, SCARs, Glocks, Smith & Wesson, SIGs, whatever. There's FRTs everywhere now. It's basically common use at this point because of all the ones that have been offered. Maybe not that many have been sold, but they're basically offered blanket for the entire selection of what you could go to a store and buy, which is sick. They're not really practical unless you're a gangbanger and you like spraying and praying, but they're great fun at ranges and stuff like that. And if you're shooting little films or something like that, like they just look sick. Nothing really beats like the full auto pulse and everything. But part of the condition of rare breed winning was that they were required by the ATF to pursue legal things against companies who directly ripped them off. Now, FRT only made the FRT for the AR-15, and their patent only really covered the AR-15. The way they had it worded and everything. Anyways, so there's another company called Hoffman Tactical. Now, Hoffman, he was big in the 3D printing world, which is how he started, and he invented a thing called a super safety. And what this thing did was generally the same as the FRT, went about it a completely different way, but also the way it worked is it would make your gun, after your trigger clicks, it basically deactivates the trigger until it's back and ready to fire again, and the bolt's fully closed forward, and then your gun's ready to fire again. The safety disconnects because it mechanically has gotten to that point, and then you can fire again. So it kind of does FRT-ish sort of things, but it doesn't. And anyways, apparently Rare Breed did post a lawsuit with one company that had directly ripped them off. Understandable, they should do that either way, just because that's a even without ATF directive. Like, cool, if somebody's stealing your rights, you know, that's your thing. But they're suing Hoffman, and Hoffman apparently filed for his patent before the FRT, before Rare Breed filed theirs. So he legally, paperwork-wise, had his invention completed before they had theirs completed. So it's like, how could you sue somebody who legally and paper trailed themselves to have it done before you? And then also they said, oh no, they're taking part of our design, whatever. Anyway, a whole bunch of crap. And Hoffman is loved by the entire community. Super nice guy, young guy. I don't even think he's over 30 years old. Wears like one of those driver hats where it's not a golf whatever hat, but like one of the ones where the whole top of the hat kind of sits on top of the bill. Like, just wears that, and like always like a sweater vest, like the sort of dude that like you wouldn't feel intimidated by, like bringing, like if you were a girl, like, nothing against Hoffman, super cool guy from everybody that I know that knows him in person, but it's like you're not going to walk down the street and like be scared that he's going to try to like rob you or grope you or anything. And he's definitely not a sort of person to take somebody's design and steal a patent. Like, he comes from the world of 3D printing stuff. Of course, there's a lot of reverse engineering that happens in the 3D printing world, but a lot of the 3D printed gun space, it's creating their own things from scratch. So this kid's an engineer, straight up engineer, designed his own thing, and the big mean Rare Breed's now suing him for reasons that nobody can really comprehend. And every reason that's listed in the lawsuit is like moot. They're all horrible points. And it's like, even if there was like one part in there, he's not stealing your entire thing. But you should be encouraging that, just like I was saying with the helicopter stuff. Like, if there's something that you want to see in the world, you should encourage other people to be doing it. So like I said, yeah, don't infringe on my patent. Don't take what I have. But if you come up with your own design of something that's unique, and even if it uses kind of the same thought process or whatever, like, screw it, do it, dude. Like, there's millions of these things out there. There's a recent Art and War about this with Hoffman, a little more complicated because Hoffman has no patent. The closest patent request to it was sold to Rare Breed. Still shouldn't work out for RBT. I saw something, what was it, VSO, and I'm pretty sure he's a lawyer, right? VSO Gun Channel? Pretty sure he's a lawyer. He did something recently where it was showing not a patent, but something that Hoffman had posted or shared or whatever it was dated before the Rare Breed patent. Which, that's what I was referencing on that. But either way, I need to talk to, I don't want to name drop, I want to talk to Prince Shooter Pete here again soon and go shooting with him. I haven't seen him in a while. So it'd be nice to head back up to the range that he's at and go have a day with him, because I know Hoffman comes down every once in a while. Because I'd love to meet him and shoot some of these things. I still don't think I've shot I may have shot like one 3D printed handgun with him, but I really haven't touched any of the rifles or subguns or anything like that. I think it'd be sick to check out, because my 3D printing knowledge is very, very limited. Text all gone. Neat. Yeah, I'd love to meet him, and I know that's something that will happen soon. So what else can we talk about? So I'm working on this other production, like I said, War Dog-ish sort of thing. They have the 125, the AS350. Hoffman has prior proof of his invention. The patent request was directly ripped from Hoffman files. It was a patent request, though, never approved, as I understand. Okay, still paper trail at the end of the day. Either way, it doesn't look good for RBT. But anyway, so yeah, these people doing a war dog type thing. Low budget thing, so I am working under rate. And when I say that is, for anybody who's not a friend of mine or know what I do in real life, I'm a movie and film industry armorer. I do firearms and stuff like that. This being a low budget thing, I'm working for less money than what I would on a normal big production. But these are also a lot of friends of mine that are directing, acting, producing. So I'm jumping in and helping them out because I know once this project gets greenlit, because they're going to go sell this to somebody, that I'll be top of the list for who they want to bring on. So I don't mind helping out on that. And even if there wasn't a guarantee of work afterwards, I still don't mind helping them because they're my friends. But there's a big thing about this that is hopefully going to work out some in my favor. I have been looking to get into the stunt world for a long time. I'm good with cars. I'm really good with cars. Drifting, sliding, parking, whatever. Any of that stuff, I can hit a mark, I can do it, no big deal. Pretty good with the gun stuff. Movements, whatever. I've shot with a lot of different people, a lot of different walks of life and service histories and whatever. And also I study a good bit on tactics and whatever, so I can advise and I know how to do it and demonstrate it and make it look good and proficient. A lot of stunt people look really, really bad with guns. But anyways, these people are very big on doing stuff to look realistic and not like overselling, like, ooh, got hit by a gun, wiggle around, whatever. So I'm looking forward to working with them because they're actually having me use guns on screen, which is usually like, cool, you're either a background person way deep or nobody really cares, nobody respects. But the other people that they're having do this are stunt people. So I'm not like the one weird one out doing it with the stunt people, like they're using me as a respected person that can help direct the tactical people in the scene to move the right way. And one, I really appreciate that because a lot of directors and stuff don't want any input. They just want it to look Hollywood. These people don't want it to look Hollywood. They want it to look real. So I love that. But two, they're also letting me do it on screen, which, like I said, usually when it's a very specific act like that, they want a stunt person doing it. And I'm sure I'll have to come in and maybe grab somebody, whatever. It's all up to the day on how we want to shoot it. But again, that's a very stunt person thing. So technically, even going back to last month when we shot out in Alabama, I was on screen with a whole bunch of other stunt people doing like a terrorist role or whatever, super, super far away. Really, they just needed my thermal signature for the camera. But yeah, so it's giving me an on-screen stunt role with a lot of friends who are stunt people. Therefore, I have a stunt role in front of some of the most working stunt people in our industry in my area. So hopefully that turns into something of a, hey Matt, we're doing this gun thing on the show, we need some stunt people, like 5'8" to 6'4", we want you in here because you fit this and we know you can handle your stuff, you want to come in for a stunt day. And I would very, very much like to do that. And not because I want to be the hero stunt guy. I will let that be somebody else's dream. I've got no problem being it if I'm asked. That's fine. But I also don't want to take somebody's job who's making this their primary thing. Obviously, I want to do helicopter stuff in the future. Big goal, be doing search and rescue sort of stuff where I have a winch on the back and like that. That would be the ultimate thing. I would love that to be my career. But it takes money to get there. And something that pays money, armor pays good, stunts pays better. And on top of that, I think I can bring a very, very valuable look, a very valuable skill, and very valuable teaching of that skill and that look and that style to people in the industry. So if I'm allowed to come in and do that as stunts, I can make more money doing it, put my mark on the industry in a way that I would be proud of. A lot of these shows that have guns come in, which if you listen to my Art and War episode, they're like, man, we were watching this movie and the gun work was really, really bad, or they pick these really, really stupid guns. It's like, dude, I try my best. I try to tell these directors, I try to tell these props people, I try to tell these stunt people, I try to tell the actors, like, try to do this, but I don't get time to train people. I'm not given any creative control in picking the firearms or kitting them out or putting the right parts or whatever, and there's not really much I've done that I'm proud of in the film industry. Like, I'm proud that I've got a good safety record. You know, I'm nobody's been shot on my set. There's been nobody that's accidentally fired a blank on my set. I've had people do unsafe things that I've stopped, and I'm proud of that. Because at the end of the day, I can't control everybody. I can teach everybody to do something, but I can stop something when I see it. And I'm really good at stopping people when I see stuff. But so many of the things now, like the one I'm working on now, we don't do real guns on, it's just airsoft toy guns. And it's like, okay, cool, like, I've gone through all the safety stuff with it, but now you're just holding a piece of metal and plastic that I've had my eyes on the entire time. Like, I'm not proud of what's coming out because I'm not given the time to teach. I'm not given the time to direct. I'm not given the time. I'm writing like a Bible sort of guide for the show now, where it's like, hey guys, if you really want to make these things look better, stop renting from these people who are giving you crap. Like, look for these sort of things. It will look a million times better. It probably won't be listened to, but, you know, I try. But yeah, so being able to do this very small stunt, with air quotes around it, gig for the show coming up this weekend, I believe. I'm really looking forward to it because I've been able to get a lot of input in with the people directing and the stunt people. I'll be able to work with them. Being a lower budget thing, it'll probably be slower going through the shots and setup and everything, so I'll be able to coach in between shots a whole bunch more and get things looking the right way. I'm able to put in guns that I'm very proud of the way they look. I'm going to be able to put in kit that I'm very proud of the way it looks. For the most part, everybody's kind of using their own belts and plate carriers and stuff. But we're playing like more of a QRF sort of thing, and not exactly like a fully uniform matched HRT sort of thing. But anyways, like I'm going to be a lot more proud of this, and hopefully it shows with the other people who do stunts, to where it's something where if they're asked, hey, we need some tactical people coming in, that I'm on the call list now, which would be great. And the cool thing is, if I'm on the call list, that means I can buy more helicopter lessons, which means I can actually film doing helicopter stuff again, which I really look forward to. Funny enough, since I got my license, all the flights that I've done, I haven't filmed or taken any sort of pictures or anything. My first one, I took my dad up, and I wanted that just to be me and him. We went to go get breakfast. I've taken a friend up, and I did my lesson in the 44 here recently. I haven't been flying a lot. Money's tight. But if I can go do more flying, then I can do more exploring and checking things out, and hopefully like getting some cool shots and stuff with taking different friends and people that I enjoy spending time with up to enjoy something that I enjoy. And like I said, having a stunt gig would really, really help with that, because it's basically double the money of what I make now. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. At a minimum, I get to do something cool with some cool people this weekend, and maybe it earns me an hour in an AS350 or a 145. But 145 would be sick. If I could get twin engine turbine time before I finish my 44 cross or transition, it'd be a cool thing for the resume. And then also, like, the dudes who are doing this, super, super cool guys. Down to earth, not scared. Like, of course they do a lot of government contract stuff, but they're not politically correct. You know, they're just fun. Like, they're people that you want to hang out with and cut up with, which I really, really appreciate. It's something that you just don't see a lot of these days. So I'm thankful to be doing a cool job with cool people. That's a big thing. And hopefully it opens up door to more helicopter stuff. You know, if they have more ferry things coming up where they want somebody to just ride along and keep company, put me in. I'll make the drive out to somewhere. Because then I'm investing time and money into it. Like, sure, yeah, I'm very interested. I want to go out, I want to learn, I want to see how different platforms handle, different platforms move with the wind. Like the 44 was a lot more wiggly than I expected, but that's because it has a much larger vertical stabilizer. So this right here on the 44 is much bigger than the 22, so it caught a lot more wind, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to be bigger, heavier, more stable or whatever, but it felt more unstable in some situations. Could part of that just be my handling wasn't up to catching up with what it needed to be? Sure. It's my first 44 flight. I'm not going to put anything past that. But I felt like I had to be more reactive to the weather than what I had in previous things. Okay, you've been flashing at me for a minute. What do you say? Set course 293. Cool, don't care. No, that's just the number there and a power line. Okay. But anyways, how's everybody else doing? I know I get to go hang out with Sean some tomorrow. I have a lunch date with him. Don't know who else is in here right now, but hope y'all are doing good. Also, I had a job interview today. An initial interview, but still an interview nonetheless. I don't know how much I really want to say about it. I don't want to jinx anything. I felt good. Either way, it's just cool people to meet. Either way, but they are in the helicopter world. So, not a flying position. Don't worry, FAA, I'm not commercial yet. Ooh, yeah, I know. The cool thing is, it's not a W-2 job. It's a 1099 job. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the American tax system, a W-2 would be something is like, hey, you're my employee, I'm paying you weekly, you get a paycheck, so you get a W-2 because I'm taking the taxes off of everything. A 1099 would be like, hey, I'm hiring you on as a contractor. When you do something for me, I pay you as a contractor, then I would have to pay my taxes out. Pay my taxes. So, it's a 1099 type job, so it's something that will take time invested by me. Is that an airport up ahead, or is that just a weird cloud? Because if that's an airport, we'll just make it a fuel stop real quick. Oh no, hell yeah, I think that's... Yeah, we're going to take that. That's nice. That's definitely a military base or something there, because it's not marked as an airport. So yeah, we're going to go to the one after that. I think that's a mill base. That's the reason why it's not marked. It's not so much I'm worried about the FAA people. I just... Obviously, the people who I'm working with are in the helicopter space. I post on Instagram, and they will be looking at my socials, which I'm not going to change anything, but I also don't want to put on here like, hey, look at me, I got a interview with this super cool company, whatever. So I don't want to start rolling an egg around before it hatches. But I will say it's some cool people. It's a unique job. It's 1099, so it's a contract-based thing. If I don't produce, I don't get paid, which I'm cool with. You know, I have a job that pays pretty decent now when I work. But this just gives me something that can fill my time in the off time. And then it also gives me something that builds up such a huge repertoire of people in the helicopter industry that once I am commercial, I'll know hundreds of people. And that could lead into fruitful and gainful employment in the industry I want to be in. Beyond just doing what this would be. And this is something where if it becomes if I become really, really good at it, which is a very niche job, which I'll discuss more if I hear back about a second interview, and if it goes good, whatever. If it goes good, you'll hear about it. If it goes bad where I don't make it, I'll tell you about it. But I'm going to wait until after a potential second interview, or no second interview, and not. But it will be addressed eventually. But it's something where it's like, cool, if I'm really, really good at it, being 1099, a commission-based thing, then it's something where I could make it my sole income source. And if I'm good enough at it where I don't need to spend 40 hours a week on it, I can still do a stunt gig here or there, or an armory gig here or there, and have W-2 employment that pays me $60,000, $70,000 a year, because that's very doable with stunt stuff, and not being at work every day. It's very possible to work 1 month in stunts. If you work every single day of a month and you do a bigger stunt like once a week, you can make $40,000 in a month. Usually that's somebody that's like a full-time utility sort of stunt person that's kind of always on set, helping with things, helping run things on the day, so you get your normal day pay. And then on top of that, if you're doing something where like you get pushed through a wall or something, like, okay, cool, that may be like a $800 bump to you for getting pushed to the wall on top of the $1,000 you're already making. So you work 20 days a month, you get $20,000 in a month. And you get pushed through a wall once a week, or maybe a car stunt, or maybe you get snatched in a wire, or maybe you have to crash a bicycle or something. Like, cool, that's $2,000 to fall off a bike 20 times. And you could end up making pretty good money. So if I have something like that where I still have a lot of free time, where I'm still doing good enough as a W-2 person, with a lot of free time to be able to focus on the commission-based thing on the side, it opens up a lot of freedom to do more things. And I'm looking forward to that. I really hope it works out. If y'all are watching, on the very small chance, which is not a non-zero chance, it sounds great. It'd be a lot of work. A lot of uncomfortable conversations. It'll make more sense when I explain it. But it'd be a really, really neat thing to do. So, take that for what it is. Let's see. 8 people in here. What's going on? We're going to do a quick fuel stop at whatever this airport is here. Pokhara. G. Let's see. Do I do a FBO break here? Or do we keep shuttling out? What do we look like? Oh, we got a long way to go. What do I look like? Are there more? There's more helipads coming up that we're passing. A lot of mountains, hills. There's an airport there. So we may stop at VNSA and do a... Yeah, I think we'll continue on. We'll stop here just to splash up on fuel. And we'll stop at VNSA for an FBO break. Y'all can go anytime you want to. You have phones, you can pause, or you can just come back, because I'll still be here flying. I'm just going to put the collective all the way down. We'll float it. I'm basically in an auto rotation right now. We just haven't throttled off. Were we in an auto rotation? No. I said basically. Okay, Sean, good night. I will see you tomorrow. I'll text you. I'm sure you've already meal prepped, but if you want me to bring you anything, I'll probably be stopping by Chick-fil-A as usual, as we do with our lunch dates. I don't know why I always love like approaches where you kind of slide it in. They're not proper. You shouldn't do it. But we're in a zero repercussion machine right here. So, why not? And the reason that you're not supposed to do approaches like that, because if you lose power, you want to have all of your momentum going straight because you're going to be landing on moving skids. And you want to be able to skid and not tip over. Okay, cool. Cool thing is when you land near fuel setup, it'll pop this up. But I'm just going to click F a handful of times, which I have as an add 25% fuel button. Anyways. Off we go. Clear of everything. Oh, I want my tablet back. We're heading in the right... What a cute little town here. Look at this. Nepal got it going on. Yes, still in Nepal. That was VNPK. Victor November Papa Kilo. Pretty sure we're still in Nepal. I mean, I know we are distance-wise as far as where we're going. Because Nepal's a lot longer than I thought. I was hoping to do like a one-shot thing from the base of Everest all the way over the India Gap that I wanted to jump in one thing. But Nepal is a lot longer than I expected. So we're going to do basically edge of Nepal. We've already touched India on accident a couple of times, so I'm not really complaining if we land or stop somewhere. We're just going to sleep in a helicopter if we have to. Eight people in here. Hope y'all are all doing good. Welcome to the stream. We are somewhere over Nepal right now. Last episode we did an attempt at Everest dive, set up in an Everest type spec, but the game won't let us do it, sadly. With that said, while y'all are here, if you haven't, there's a like button. Feel free to click it. If you comment and talk, it gives me more to talk about, which is better for you. Unless you just enjoy this. But I'd like to think some of you are here somewhat for personality reasons. Either way, subscribe if you haven't. You don't have to watch my videos. Subscribing's not like a marriage commitment. You know, like if you don't show up for the kids' recital, I'm not going to be upset with the kids' recital being me doing an episode. You don't have to stick around and watch. It helps me with numbers. If y'all watch and you comment, you say something. 13, what's going on, guys? But yeah, the big thing is the chat's open to pretty much talk about whatever you want to, and I can pretty much talk about anything you bring up for the most part. If you're mean, we'll get rid of you or tell you to stop. But yeah, this is episode 58, 59 of Flying Around the World. If you want to watch the full series, Godspeed. It'll end up being around a 250 to 300 hour series because it's not just an around the world thing now. It's also a touch every continent except for Antarctica around the world series. We did a jump to Australia handful of episodes back because one of our regulars, Tom, which you'll see him in here every once in a while. He lives in Australia. And the reason I say you'll see him in here every once in a while, because it's currently daytime there and he's got work and stuff. So I can't expect him to be here. But when he is here, it's always a treat, because he's very knowledgeable in helicopters and stuff as well. Yeah, so we did an Australia swing, which made me say, like, okay, cool, well, if we took a 20-day detour to come down to Australia, which is what it felt like, or a 20-episode detour. I need to actually look at that and see what that detour cost us episode-wise. Anyways, it was a lot, because we were originally going to jump from Japan over to, I want to say, South Korea. I think that's where we're going to do the jump for, somewhere in there. Or Hong Kong, or some whatever is right over there on that little China Sea area. We're going to do that jump and then continue through Asia, hit Everest, and we'd be on this track here, and we'd head up through like Turkey and Europe, then cross over Iceland, Greenland, down the Americas and back home to Georgia, where we started, at my home airport, where I learned to fly helicopters in real life. But we did this 20-day excursion down into the land down under Australia, and because of that, I said, okay, cool, well, we're obviously not trying to do this series in the least amount of episodes possible, because we had to go all the way down through the center of Australia to hit the big nipple in the middle, go up, and then Thailand and all the islands and stuff down there, which took a while. It didn't take that long, it's just I took a while doing it, because life has gotten busy since last summer when we started this. We started this in like April last year, I think. I'd have to look back on that. I don't think we're going to be able to do this in the 1 year time frame, just because I got busy and didn't want to fly. But we might try. We'll see. But yeah, if we already spent all that time in Australia, the plan now is we're still going to fly down the east coast of the U.S. I'm going to skip the home state completely, so I'm not going to touch Georgia whatsoever. We're going to go from South Carolina directly to Florida. We're going to hit Cletus's place, the Freedom Factory, and Bald Eagle Airfield. We're going to follow the Keys and jump through the Bahamas and the islands, Cuba, Puerto Rico, all those things. And we're going to go hit South America, and then we're going to jump back up through Central America. And that would make us hit every continent except for Antarctica. And I don't have any desire to hit Antarctica. That would be another 20 days on top of the 20 days on top of the 20 days. So 2 months worth of flying. Of course, it's possible in a few sittings if I were to sit here and do an 8-hour shift. But I'm not looking at doing an 8-hour shift. A 4-hour run in VR is already pretty intense as far as uncomfortable chair, not really having good airflow, because I try to keep it relatively quiet in here, no fans, so you have the best audio, even though I have music playing in the background, whatever, sue me. And just having this blue light on your face for this amount of time with everything, it's not the nicest thing to do. VR's fun, it's good practice, it helps a lot if you're looking to get into flying for real, but either way, Antarctica is not exactly on my list of things I'm going to be doing. I do plan, after this Around the World series is over, doing a more or less pole to pole. I think Antarctica is too big to hit a pole, and so is the North Pole. There's not airports up there, and I don't want to do a 10-hour ferry tank flight to the center. But I will do Arctic Circle to Arctic Circle, or I'd like to do Antarctica all the way up to like the southernmost airport that's accessible, where I can do a helicopter jump from Antarctica to South America, all the way up to, what is it, Nome, Alaska? Or whatever the most northern point is there. So basically like a Antarctica to a full Pan-American series. And that's something I do want to do. And really the only thing that we'd be crossing over that would be the same as what we've done so far would be the northwest corner of the country. So like Seattle, Washington, up to Anchorage. Or not Anchorage. Anchorage or Juneau? No, Juneau's down the thing. So it'd be like Anchorage, and then we'd have a different path that we'd be taking to the north, most likely. So a Pan-American trip is on the list after this series is over, and that will have us touching Antarctica. So then the channel has touched Antarctica and every continent and done substantial flying in every continent. This one we're not going to spend much time in South America. It may be one episode in South America where we finish doing the island hops and we land in Colombia, and then the next time we fly all the way from Colombia to somewhere in Central America. Yeah, I think that will be the next series, Mr. GA, Georgia General Aviation Spotting. Yeah, I think Pan American will be the next one. It makes sense. Like, there's not too much else to do as far as like long-running, specific, goal-oriented, over the course of many episode type things. Maybe like, what, 50 state episode? Or 48, 49 states? 48 contiguous would be cool. There's no way to fly to Hawaii by helicopter. It would be possible if we did a ferry tank simulation from some Pacific islands, but there's no way to do it raw, which is something I have looked into. I have looked in how to fly from a helicopter to Hawaii. There are some islands, Southern Pacific, but it would be... the only way I think the series would make sense would be like mainland to Hawaii in a helicopter. And you could either do a lot of ferry tank simulations, say like, cool, we've got an extra 200 gallons of fuel back here, and we're just going to cross the Pacific straight from LA to Hawaii. But that would be boring. It would be like, I think I figured it out to be like 17 hours or something of just over water. And honestly, I'm not going to sit here for 17 hours straight, even if it had like the autopilot things from like the hype group things. No, I'm just not going to happen. But it is possible to island hop from like Australia. A pain in the ass, but it's possible. With that said, that will end up being around 30 to 40 hours of ocean with ferry tank considerations in there. So either way, not exciting. Think of changing from Southeast Aviation or something. Maybe. I don't want to say you're established. Your following's not super huge yet, so it's not like you have like 6 million people that are like, oh my god, what happened to GA Spotting? I mean, look at Epic Aviation. He's slowly rebranding to Helicopter King, where he did Helicopter King or Epic Aviation 47 _ Helicopter King. And now he's slowly changing all of his handles to that, but he's doing it progressively so that way people aren't freaking out. Like, hopefully they'll see like 2 or 3 months worth of transition. So they're not just going to go searching for Epic Aviation. They're going to know. But I would say, like, if you do want to rebrand, now would probably be the time. But it's also like, is it necessary to rebrand now? Back at Epic Aviation 47, he's at, what, 50,000 subs? Pretty consistent posting. And now he's doing it. So there's nothing stopping you from doing it in the future. The only thing would be if you're looking for I guess I'll say like a memorable name. If you want like a more memorable, catch people's attention sort of name, then I could see that being a reason for a rebrand. Extreme spotters 24/7, only the best airplane footage. But then it's also like, cool, there's a lot of people who are also doing spotting. And like really like just thinking of top spotting pages like Bob Surrogate or whatever his name is. I mean, I'm not just spotting Georgia. Yeah, you're bouncing around spotting in different places, so. But like, it's like the big spotting names when you think of it, outside of Epic Aviation 47, it's like he's going to Helicopter King, which is more specific, but I think he started out, like some of his more popular videos that he has is airplane stuff. He's just a helicopter guy. I don't know, like there is merit to changing. There is merit to making something a bit more memorable, but also there are some people with some really, really stupid names that have gotten really far. And your name's not a really stupid name. It's a pretty spot-on thing where it could be general aviation spotting. But then you're also doing A320s and stuff, which isn't quite general aviation. So I don't know, that's on you. I don't think anybody in your comment section is going to be like, you weren't spotting in Georgia, so I'm going to unsubscribe because this isn't just Georgia spotting anymore. Or, oh my god, you posted an A320, so this isn't general aviation anymore. I'm only here for general aviation. I don't want to see this commercial crap on my feed. My ME262 video. But yeah, it's I don't think the name locks you into something. Especially with something as general as aviation spotting. I don't think anybody's going to complain. If anything, people will be more likely to watch something that's may split up their attention some. I enjoy watching like nice airport private jet departures. I think like a good 30-40 minute video of that stuff. Put it on in the background when I'm doing something, and it's something neat there that I don't have to pay attention to. Just like your parents will put on Everybody Loves Raymond and watch the same reruns 50 times. I'd rather watch planes taking off, you know? And it's not going to bother me if their name's not whatever spotting. And I've said it before, like I did set up multi-shot Matt, giving me the ability to do other stuff without making it a very specific sort of channel. I didn't want to call it Matt Does Cars because here I am playing VR Helicopter Simulator. But I didn't want to call it Matt Does VR Helicopter Simulator because I like working on cars. I like riding motorcycles. I like building things. I like doing stuff. I like doing whatever my heart desires, and at least my channel, which I've said before, but oh yeah, you're not Airbus Fan 350. And you're not what, Airbus CEO? But it's like my channel was built, which you've heard this, but for anybody in here that's not one of the regulars, I started this channel as a way for me to be myself. I wanted a creative outlet where when I'm not working my normal jobs, I have something to do, something to pay attention to. If I want to be creative and do something, if I want to sit here and fly around the world, I can do that. And that's why it's multi-shot Matt. Because I also have the idea where one day when I have the house and property and everything all figured out, I'm going to build a shop and section off into multiple sections to where I can do things specifically in specific sections. You know, like I don't want to have all my electronic modification stuff in the same areas like my metal grinding and my woodworking or my painting or my shop work stuff. You know, like I want to have areas that are specific to doing those certain things. So that's where the multi-shop and multi-shop mat came from. And like I said, it was also a lot of, I don't want to lock myself into that. But your page, Mr. Georgia Spotting, is very much a plain spotting page. And now I'm not telling you not to do anything else. But I feel like if you wanted to do something else, where if you were like, okay, cool, I want to do, let's say model building, because you have the KSCG model, KCSG model. If you want to do something about modeling and scale stuff, I don't know if you would put that on your spotting channel. I feel like if you want to do stuff more in that sort of realm of creativity and creation, you'd probably make a different channel for that, just because you want to keep your things separately, because your main channel's been built with the intention of main channel doing main channel things. At least that's the way I see it. That's the way I've viewed your setup. Which there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. There's a lot of people. I mean, you look at there's JR Garage. Kid who drove like a Viper to high school, got popular on YouTube. Now he has like a pretty stout car collection. He started JR Aviation, and he has an aviation channel. I think we mentioned him on one of the previous streams. But he could have very well just integrated JR Aviation into the JR Garage channel. And I don't think many people would have batted an eye. There would have been some people like, oh man, we follow your page for this, why are you posting this? Well, don't watch it. But I also think he looks at like views and stuff like that. If my channel, if Multi-Shop Matt posted more garage content, stocks go up. No big deal. I'd be cruising. Just because that's what's gotten a majority of the subscribers on this channel, despite having 58 episodes of 3 hours each of doing this and other helicopter streams. Despite that, majority of my subs have come from garage-related videos. It's just what it is. And if I fed that, that would obviously snowball effect, and that would be that. But I'm not here to feed the crowd. I'm here to feed me. I'm here to feed my heart's desire to create. That's a reason why I want to be Southeast Aviations opens up more than just spotting. True, that could be a reason. I feel like multiple channels would be a lot to manage. I've been mainly centered on posting on Instagram. YouTube doesn't really have the ability to share photos, just videos. Yeah, the photo stuff on YouTube, it's still there. Like, you can do the community post or whatever. I've done that a few times. But it's not... I don't think community posts feed algorithm things. I think they're there just kind of as a bulletin board, and you could have a community post with millions of interactions or a community post with 0 interactions, and I think they'll affect your channel the same way. Because you don't get fed community posts from channels that you're not subscribed to. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think community posts have any sort of thing, because I don't think they want to encourage people doing community posts, because YouTube's not X, YouTube's not Instagram, YouTube's not Facebook, YouTube's not whatever. YouTube is a video platform, so they want to encourage posting of videos. I don't blame them. So they have a little helipad down there somewhere. What is that? The Hroptwin Airport. Yeah, so Southeast Aviation could open to that, but if you ended up doing models beyond that, then you're pushing past the aviation stuff. But that's your call. Maybe all you want to do is aviation stuff. I just know that I wanted to do more. Yeah, there's a, I won't say a million directions you can go, but there's a lot of directions that are possible to go. A little bit of a dive there, slowly pulling back. Which, it's funny, I put this camera up here to show movement of everything, but I mean, so much of this around the world stuff, I can basically fly with just a finger here. Don't really have to do much. Collective sits wherever I put it. I don't really have to do much there. Kind of have my torque managed at mid-60s percentage. I could even add a good bit more if I wanted to. But we're also at pretty high elevation, our altitude right now. So we're at 1,200, or sorry, 12,600, not 1,200, 12,000. And I'm full collective right now. We're only 62% torque. So it's just the air's thin up here, so I really can't steal more power if I need to. But being at 62% torque, it's sort of, we're not really straining the engine. It's kind of hard to keep posting weekly on YouTube as well, trying to do before I got into photography. Yeah, dude, having a consistent schedule of posting, it's rough, and I don't want to say it takes discipline. Like, it took discipline for me to get on here over the summer doing the around the world thing. I have a lot of discipline, and there's still like 10 videos that I'm working on, and I just can't be bothered right now, you know? It's not that I'm necessarily too busy to do them, it's just like I'm finding other things to do, and I'm procrastinating out on those particular videos, which I do want to get done, because I do think they'll be good feeders for the channel, and to show the range of what I'm able to create. Instagram allows me to share the photos I take as well as the videos. Once I get the R7, I'll be able to post on jet photos too. What are the requirements for jet photos? I have a phone mount on my camera that lets me film and take photos at the same time, which helps a bit. That's how I filmed Blackhawks while taking pictures. Yeah, I heard the clicks in the video you took as they were going over. So I figured that you either had a phone or GoPro or something mounted. I know there's a lot of like automotive racing photographers that will put a GoPro and run it in like the narrow field of view, not the super wide, ridiculous field of view. They'll run it in the narrow field of view as they're doing automotive stuff. So V and SA is where we're going. So we're going to peel a little bit to the left, and that's going to be our bathroom stop, because I'm still feeling good tonight. It's 10:53, so we'll be over there in 12 minutes, and we'll do a quick bathroom break. We'll go give her our really strict, thanks to them partner with Flight Radar 24. I figured there was some sort of restriction to it, because I have another friend who takes a lot of airplane photos. She's dating a friend of mine, so he got himself an airplane girlfriend, so I'm super jealous of that. But she takes pictures, and she's looking to submit to jet photos or any sort of those websites, because they live under a flight path at like MacDill or something like that down in Florida, so she gets a lot of cool military photos and stuff. Photos need to be front lit, good quality, not over edited, not too sharp, not too soft, etc. So I assume they probably look at everything that gets posted, and they won't attribute it to that tail number unless like somebody is physically there going, yep. Interesting. Yeah, I've always seen that, and it's Do you know of anybody that does jet photo stuff? Does anybody make that like career somehow? Or is it literally just hobbyists who end up being like the top jet photo people? Is there money in it? Because if there's money in it, then I can say like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, if you can dedicate your time to go get a handful of quality jet photos, like, sure, maybe you're out there for a day, but if it leads to a couple of people buying a print from you, and a print's 20, 30 bucks a piece, where they're like, oh, cool, I see that Bill McBillison posts a lot of photos on here. Let's see what his photography Instagram or website looks like. Then, yeah, I could see that being a thing. Because there's times when I've seen photos or posts or whatever, and I'll look back and find the artist. And I've purchased some prints from some different people for different things I thought was pretty neat. No money, just a way to show your photos? Yeah, still advertising. If your name's on there, there's a chance somebody will look you up. If there's a chance somebody will look you up, they're already going through that much effort to see your stuff. So if you can put a website forward, or if you can put a whatever the top 3 pinned things on your Instagram are, if you put some super quality photos there of like some neat shots that you've gotten prints of for sale, then it could lead into money for you. So I'm sure it's possible, but I feel like a lot of people at that point do it for the love of the game too. Like, you really like aviation, she really likes aviation. Epic Aviation, he really likes helicopter. You know, people, if you make money on that's just a benefit. A lot of these people would be doing it anyways just because they enjoy it. Which, that's good to see. I like seeing a world like that. Okay, so I don't know the name of this place. We're 15 miles out, but we're going to stop there and do a quick FBO break. Don't really need fuel, but we'll top off anyways just because we're there. And then we'll find something hour and a half away, maybe. Stream being weird to you? Mine was just showing like a weird loading thing. Stop doing the weird loading thing. What's going on? Weird. The most important thing is I don't screw this up while I'm trying to figure out what the stream's doing. For me, photography is just a hobby, not depending on any income, but if income does happen, it's just part-time, yeah. Which I don't want to say that's the way it should be, but I feel like when you love doing something, it always ends up being more full, more fine, more pure by the people who are involved in it. Okay, so we're on the other side of this ridge. Up here is where we're going. So we're going to hit this little trough here that's up in this area, and we're going to follow the ridge down in altitude and direction. Because we could follow the river, then we'd have to go around. Instead, we're going to follow the ridge over. That should give us a straight-in shot at runway 34. And also, for the handful of people watching, while I am in the FBO using their facilities, which will only take a few minutes, please feel free to share your favorite conspiracy theory that will not get the chat kicked off of YouTube. Or the stream banned. Or whatever, you know. Or do it, you know. I got a mod in here who can take somewhat care of it. Also, weird thing with the 44 that I noticed in flying it. In the 22, you can see the skids out in front of you. The 44, the skids are kind of not visible. Unless you, like, hang your head out the window. Or take the door off. And we were hovering around down near the cone that I would pick up with the 22. And I couldn't see it. Which is annoying because it was laying on its side. I wanted to flip it upright, but I couldn't see it, so. Oh well. Okay, here we go. We're lowering collective. We have our little thing here. We're going to start a descent down. It looks like we're probably going to kill 2,000 feet. We're currently at 8,000 feet elevation, which we are already 4,000 feet down from what we were back there. Don't know what altitude this airport is, or elevation this airport is at. I don't care. I will get there regardless. Once you get commercial license, you're probably not going to airlines, but you probably do something like NetJets or Ferry Company. And honestly, like, I'll be getting my fixed wing. Not happy about that. I enjoy helicopters. I enjoy the freedom. I think helicopters are supreme creations. With that said, airplanes are also extremely good tools at getting places far away quickly, or getting to the general area of places far away quickly if they don't have an airport in town. So I do want to get my fixed wing, and then of course I'll have commercial rating, and I want to get multi-engine and turboprop and everything. With that said, I don't think I'd ever want to fly commercial airlines. I would much rather prefer to do maybe not even NetJets or ferrying per se, but there's a lot of jobs out there that involve smaller size planes where you can do really, really good for yourself that aren't just hauling people back and forth. There are medical companies that you fly like blood samples and stuff for from different places to different places. I think Quest Diagnostics is one. And like you'll see their PC-12s everywhere. And I think they have some King Airs and stuff too that they run. And there's like a lot of smaller cargo companies that hit these smaller areas for weird specific things, or they just happen to get their hands on some sort of unique contract where it's like, cool, they're not shipping through FedEx, or maybe it is, and FedEx just outsources some of their space to them. I don't know. I see these people and these planes in the air, and it's 11 o'clock at night, so it'd be hard to find one now. But if you start looking at flight radar at 2 a.m., you're going to see a lot of like freight carriers that aren't USPS, that aren't DHS, that are DHL, or UPS, or whatever. There's so many of these things that like you just don't know who they are. I don't know what they're carrying. Okay, so we're working our way in here. I guessed runway 34. Let's see what it says. Runway 34, perfect. So we'll come up here, we'll hit parking real quick. I'm going to pause the game, run into the FBO. Everybody feel free to load up a question when I'm gone, go get a drink, go get a snack, and we'll do another hour and a half of flying or so. We'll find something that's that direction and 150 miles away, 180 nautical miles away. And I don't trust this van here, so I'm actually going to park on the grass. They look like somebody who would hit me. Okay, cool. I'm going to pause real quick, and I'll be right back. Into VR world. Let's see, let's get everything pulled back up my phone. Nothing I need to address right now. And now the same barking is closer and moved to another part. Missed something. Commercial strange things. Or you live near a base, so hearing the dog barking in an area that's not popular at all. Whenever they're checked out, no dogs to be seen. And now that same barking is closer and moved to another part. Is it a ghost? Let's see, collective down, that's there, center cyclic. Resume. Okay, cool, we're good. Could probably be a little bit taller. Mm. $242, so that's 2-hour flight. What time is it? 11? Let's just see what else is on the way. So if there's anything closer, if not, we'll just suck it up and do it. I think that's border right there. VIDF, what are you? Pitho, more info. Don't know what any of these words are. Whatever, it looks like there's a handful of things kind of along the way. And if I feel like I'm getting tired or whatever, somewhere around here, we'll drop off there. But, I say we just suck up our buttercuts. Here in Growlington, yeah, leave the dog alone. He doesn't want to be messed with. Oh yeah, also fuel. Topped off on fuel. Yeah, get back to safety of vehicle or home. Wild dogs are a thing, despite people maybe not believing that it is, here in the US. But not something to mess with. Even pretty unassumingly sized dogs can be much stronger and violent than what you expect. But down here at 5,000 feet, look at that. Basically touching the ocean. And lean into it some. Let's see, airspeed limitations, outside air temperature, where's my OAT? Do I not have a thermometer somewhere? I'm just going to assume. Seriously not have a thermometer on here? Usually there is. Anyways, I'm going to assume something. Altitude. They're in 24. They're in 30. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Also, Mr. GA Spotting, I'm going to need you to reply so I know you haven't been eaten by a dog, so I don't need to call the police. I don't know where you're at, but I know generally what town you're in. I'll start an entire manhunt for you if I need to. I'm not losing my Georgia Spotting homie. But since we have a handful of people in here who are just generally watching, I'll give you a quick breakdown of what we've done so far in the Around the World series, so you can see how far we've come. Even though it's probably pretty understandable to know like world geography and where we've been and everything, but just so you can know, we started south of Atlanta, Georgia, at KHMP, Hampton Speedway Airport. Oh, okay, you're alive. Good. Stay that way. Sorry, there we worked our way up St. Louis area for middle of the country. Kind of worked slightly north-ish towards the Dakotas so we could hit Rushmore and everything, and worked our way to the west. Ended up in, I think, Seattle was where we met the Northeast. Jumped the Sound there, followed up through Alaska, went up to the Anchorage area, and crossed McKinley. After we crossed McKinley, we worked our way to the west, out to somewhere here. I forget the names. Sorry. Did a jump across the Bearings down there. Did a jump across whatever this strait is. It might be considered Bering Sea. Don't know. And came down the coast of Alaska. We had to kind of like jump inward one day because there was no fuel. So we had to do a weird jump to get down. Worked our way down this peninsula. We were thinking about going this way around, more mainland Russia. But we took this peninsula with the knowledge that we would have a 5-hour day running this island chain. We ended in Japan there. Did a handful of days down through Japan, and this is where we were looking at crossing or coming down to Taiwan and crossing there. But instead, we worked our way down this way to Australia and jumped in here. Worked our way down to Sunshine Coast area, which is where Timothy is from. Worked towards the nipple here in the middle, which is that big rock. Worked back up towards here. Yeah, somewhere over here. Jumped the islands, came back up Bangkok, around through here, and now we're over here. Yeah, 58 days of that. So that gives you some small perspective as far as what we've done so far. Okay, now we're off of our river course there. It's continuing off to the south, and we're going to continue to the northeast. Or sorry, northwest. Got a big headwind there. Gave us a lot of lift. I think it was a headwind. Doesn't show our ground speed there any. Nope. Ground speed indicator would be sick. But I don't think there's a way to change any of the Garmin's or anything here to like different style Garmin's. Of course, there's probably a ground speed setting in this, but I don't really know the 530. I barely know Garmin setups as it is, outside of basic entering of destinations and just letting it set a course and changing radio frequencies on it. But yeah, long drive here today. 228 nautical miles to destination. Which, long drive, but then again, like, I would have to fly this anyways. I was in the mood today, so I'm not going to say no. At this point, 58 days, I don't know what I was thinking doing this series. And it's going to be very hard to fly past home base and add another 10 to 20 days to jump down to South America. It's going to kill me doing that. But I've said it, it stands, hold me to it. If I don't do it, unsubscribe. It's so wild, all these mountains out here. We've just been flying through mountains for 4 hours now, and they're substantial. I mean, Himalayans are up there, and now we're in foothills that make the Appalachians look like they're nothing. Got full collective. It's only giving me 68, so it's managing it well. Interesting. Oh, is it like yapping or is it big barking? Because when you say not harmful, that makes me think like lower than 30-pound dog. Which coyotes can be 30-ish pounds, but I still wouldn't try one of those in my hand unless I had a knife or some sort of edged weapon already drawn and ready to go. Yeah, the Appalachians are nothing. You say that, but then when you walk up and down them, they are very much something. Any sort of multi-thousand-foot hill is something. But compared to all the other mountain ranges out there, they are nothing. But they are old. I am curious. I wonder if anybody's ever done any sort of research into how big they would have been when they were formed. Like, obviously, a lot of erosion has happened to get to that point. But I wonder if they were Rocky Mountain sized one day. I don't think they were Himalayan sized, just because of how the plates are in that area. It's sort of big barking, but different. Weird. I feel like all these mountains here, like this is more than just a line where two plates have come together. There's a lot of geologic activity that's happened here to create such a thick layer of mountains, like south to north. I mean, it's 100 miles thick. Versus Appalachia, it's like, cool, you go like 30 miles east or west and you're pretty much out of it. It's just like a little strip of hills. Oh yeah, I mean, they're not nothing. They are something. If I had the option to walk on flat and level ground to the mountain to get somewhere, I'm going to take the flat and level. It's easier. But it's much better getting the exercise, getting the views or everything. I remember in the Scouts, we went to Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico. And the mountains there still weren't huge. They were much bigger than Appalachians. They weren't huge, but we also started at a much higher elevation, so it wasn't like we were doing a full, like 12,000 foot peak. For Mount, I think Baldy was 12,441. So it's not like we were doing a full 12,000 foot peak from sea level. They probably got around Cascades. Actually, I could see that. But yeah, the 12,441, like, we didn't do that from, like, sea level up there. It was like, okay, cool, we did that from 8,000, 6,000 feet up. I need to look into that. I'm curious what elevation gain and stuff would. I wonder what, like, a Garmin or Strava or something would say. But Philmont was beautiful. I enjoyed it out there. I'd go again. Downside is Scouts have kind of taken just a crap turn with today's world. Everybody leaning into the wokeness with it. What about Girl Scouts and the boys? Like, sorry, you literally have the Girl Scouts. Like, if you want to do more Boy Scouts style things where you're doing like cooler camping trips and more boy-y type things, and change whatever you want to in the Girl Scouts. It's really, really nice for young people to develop and to grow around people who are just like them, you know. Similar in grade to Stone Mountain Path. Mainly Blue Ridge Mountains aren't steep, so those are easier. Yeah, true. I do want to work some of the Appalachians up on the north side. Hampshire, Vermont, apparently they're much more drastic up there. And I think one of the places up there is like the windiest place in the world. Or something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But there's like one mountain up there which, like, in non-storm scenarios can sustain like 120 mile an hour winds. Like, ridiculous amount of wind. But I also know, like, it's some of the more difficult parts of the AT up there, because there's a dude who did, like, the records north to south or south to north AT run, and, like, the up there was the hardest part, because it's a lot of, like, crawling through and working through bigger rocks and stuff like that, where it's not just, like, aggressively rolling hills like it is down here. But it's also funny, like, I'm not going to say Pine Mountain is huge by any means, but that's somewhere that you're familiar with. But it does feel like more than just a hill. It does feel somewhat substantial. It gives good sight lines, good views. From the air, though, it is nothing. Like, you can see it flying. You can look out and be like, oh, cool, that's Pine Mountain out there, or the Pine Mountain Ridge. But man, it is nothing when you fly over. Like, flying over this, it feels like I'm flying over a huge range. Flying over Pine Mountains, like flying over taller trees than normal, almost. Wellington, New Zealand. Huh, I could see that. Yeah, there's somewhere that's like... It's a mountain up in the northern Appalachian range that's extremely windy, or it has like a record or something. It's something to do with wind. It's very blowy up there. Yeah, Pine Mountain's the least mountain ever. Like I said, when you fly over it, it really does feel like you're just flying over more trees. It's like, ooh, the trees here are taller than the trees everywhere else. And it's just because they're an extra couple 100 feet higher. It is crazy how much flying flattens the earth out, at least in our area. I'm sure in North Georgia it feels much cooler flying. I do look to doing a North Georgia flight eventually. I don't know if it'll be renting a 22 or a 44 and going up there, or going up there and finding somewhere where I can rent a 22 or 44, so that way I'm not paying for an hour's flight up and then flying up there and paying for an hour's flight back. It'd be much easier just to rent one from Chattanooga or something, you know. So that's something I need to look into, because that would be something I would like to do. I like to go fly different places. Which that's something that Fred North told me when I was talking to him about getting my license and suggestions and stuff like that. And he said, if you ever get a chance to fly different places, go fly in different places. At the end of the day, if you only fly around the same airport in the same area, you're getting a very limited amount of experience. Because he knew, like, we were talking when he was here working. And it was, like, cool, you know, you're flying around Atlanta, like, ground's pretty flat. Wind's pretty predictable. Traffic patterns, not crazy. The highest non-weather wind gust is 231 miles per hour in 1934. Mount Washington, that's it. Windiest place in the U.S. 230 freaking miles an hour? Jeez. And like, you see pictures of the mountain, it's just like bald up top, so you're like, oh cool, yeah, it stays kind of gusty there. Oh, 200 nautical miles. But yeah, Fred North, he said, which for those of you who are watching and familiar with that name, say, man, that name's familiar. That's the famous stunt pilot, got hundreds of thousands of subs or followers on Instagram and stuff, because he does all the cool helicopter stunt flying. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I work in film, so I've had the opportunity to talk to him and to pick his brain and stuff. And we've talked back and forth on Instagram a few times as well. But he's like, hey, if you get a chance to be in Colorado or Utah or something like that, where there's a lot more elevation, different wind patterns, big hills, mountains, traffic. Like, fly there. You'll learn a lot more than you expect to, just because things aren't the way that it always is. I remember one night Tom was on here, and we did some like ridiculous winds in the A-Star, where we did like 100 knot tailwind or something. Like we were just messing around doing shenanigans one night. Like, I wish I knew what my ground speed was here, but I'm not too worried. We're out here, we're making good time. Am I hungry? Yes. Are we going to make it the full 198 nautical miles remaining? Maybe. Little under 2 hours. More like an hour and a half. Not that bad. I'm expecting a 1 o'clock arrival. 1 a.m. Eastern time arrival. Plus, it's just good to put these hours in. You know, like I said, we're going to fly this stretch either way. If I want to fly around the world, we're going to have to fly here. That's part of it. And I'm in the mood right now, so there's no better time than now to fly over this. I'll be much more interested flying over Europe. Somewhere where, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful area. Very diverse landscape compared to flying over Central America, Middle America, Midwest. Very boring. There's a lot of stretches that we've done that are pretty... Australia, boring. Sorry, Tom. Middle Australia is a lot of nothing. But I'm glad we did it. So this is definitely way more exciting to fly over. Beginning of today's stream, not so much. We had to put some altitude in there to be over the weather. That's fine. Well, we had to be over weather and to clear the freaking hills because we were a good 5,000 to 6,000 feet higher in altitude than we are now. And we're not really having to change much. Like, I could probably stay here and be fine. So yeah, I'd much rather be flying over this than Middle Australia. But also I want to get to places that I recognize. Because we're going to have to do this in like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, get over to Saudi area. Once we get past Saudi, we'll hit Egypt. I want to do Benghazi just because LOL. And we'll do a big water hop. So it'll be a smallish water hop getting over the Persian Gulf, but we're going to do one in like the little strait there. So that should be a relatively non-issue. But the next big water hop will be going from Africa up to somewhere in Europe. Haven't picked that jump yet. And then decent hop from Europe to the UK. And then it's going to be a really annoying week. I'm going to assume 4 episodes or 5 episodes going from the UK to Canada. A lot of water crossings. I think we're even going to do an oil stop. And we may even do a ferry tank flight from Greenland to Canada because it's right on the limit of range for some of our longest range helicopters. And if the winds are unfavorable, or I'm not flying at the most fuel efficient speed, which I'm not going to. I'm going to fly faster. It burns more, but I'd rather get it over quicker. So we'll definitely feign having a ferry tank on those days. But those are going to be some pretty boring hops. Down the US, that's not going to take long. feel like our Bahamian and Caribbean and island hops aren't going to be that bad. We'll throw enough altitude at those to where we should be able to see the other island closing, so it won't just be blue nothingness. And then we may do some water skips, not exactly crossings, but like maybe skip some of Central America to jump up to the Yucatan, and then maybe skipping some more of Mexico and stuff by the north part of the Yucatan and kind of going there and not following the coastline around. We'll see what ends up being the quickest option. Then it's Texas around to Alabama. We'll hit KSG on the last day for my man down here as his home airport. And then we'll finish off back in Georgia. It doesn't sound like that much when I say it like that. Like, oh, cool, yeah, we'll just cross the Middle East, boop around Africa, jump to Europe, beep, boop, bop, island hop, done. But I expect this to be 120 episodes, so we're halfway done. And I probably foresee this being completed summer of this year. So if that's something you are interested in seeing, subscribe. You can see that there on the channel. Like I said, it's not a commitment. Just come hang out. Gives me things to do, things to talk about, things to see. I'm curious if that's just like a normal snow line or something, or like a road, but whatever that is there. Very straight altitude-wise. Or its own ground, so elevation-wise. I would think it's a road, right? Yeah, that's gotta be. Okay, enough gaining altitude. Let's level off, speed up, more power. 182 nautical miles. Ground speed would be quite sick. Then I can get more accurate ETAs on everything. Yeah, actually, Georgia's plane spotting. I think, did I mention about that job interview thing on the Discord? I feel like I may have posted something. I don't remember. And if anybody's curious, we do have a Discord. The invite link may be dead, but feel free to find Multi-Shot Matt on Instagram. Message me. I'm not on that account much. I'm usually on my main account, my personal. But I will see your message. And if you want to be in it, it's just a few of us now because there's just a few people who really watch these things. But yeah, feel free to join. Gives us more to talk about, more people to discuss things with. We talk about planes, helicopters, creating things, building things. Another one of my interests is map hunting. Is that what I call it on the Discord? I remember I said something about a job interview. I don't remember I said what it was though. Either way, I also enjoy map hunting, kind of like a geoguessing. So when you see like the Rainbolt or whoever doing the geoguesser stuff, I enjoy doing stuff like that. Although I'm not really. Wait, you don't like all that RPM I was asking for you? Well, you should have showed more than 69.6% torque. Weird. Had an RPM light come up. but it was only showing me 69% torque, so either it's a limiting FADEC system, or I don't know. Anyways, I enjoy map guessing and geoguessing and stuff. I'm not exactly good for the street view things, although I think there's a lot of lessons that you can learn in that, just in map hunting things. But every once in a while I'll be scrolling Instagram, or I'll see some weird picture or something, or I'll have a friend like, hey Matt, help me find this or help me find that. And it's neat being able to use context clues to figure out where a picture was taken or where a location is. It's alarming because you realize that pretty much anything you post could be very disclosing to real identity of you're a person that keeps your identity hidden, where you are, your patterns, your movements, whatever. So you kind of have to weigh that, just in real life and in general. Anyways, if you're a we're already being tracked anyways, which I'd rather not be. I don't want Google or anybody knowing where I am. That's just a thing. But it's already happening, so we're already all cool with it to an extent. With that said, you have to judge how cool you are with other people knowing your whereabouts. Because you may think that you're being as sneaky and protective of your OPSEC and your PERSEC as you possibly can be, but there's a very good chance that even somebody who's definitely an amateur at it like me can figure out where you're at. It's funny, in one of my group chats, my nickname in it's GeoGuesser, and my other friend's nickname is GeoKnower, because he happened to find some like ridiculously hard video that somebody had posted. And he did have a home field advantage, and he did have an advantage that helped him figure it out. I did a lot of searching. It's just there are limits to Google Maps and what you can really pull out of something like that. Like, for instance, this one showed a guy walking into an apartment complex. Pretty specific looking on the outside. Time of day, angles, shadows, all that I figured out, and I was hunting that down. But in this town, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of apartment complexes. And some of them won't pop up even if you search apartments in, I'm just going to say, St. Louis. It's not St. Louis, but I don't want to give this away. So you could type apartments in St. Louis, and it may pop up 50 different options for you if you're zoomed out on Google Maps. You zoom in more and you click search this area again, and more will pop up. You zoom in more, you'll click search this area, it'll pop up more again. Because I think there's a limit to how many it will show you. But anyways, unless you zoom all the way in some areas, some of these things won't pop up. They won't pop up as apartments. Or maybe they're listed as condos or townhomes or something to where whatever you search for doesn't show it immediately. And this was one of those. It would pop up under apartments, but it had to be zoomed in to a level that would have taken me hours to scroll this town. And when it showed the video of him walking into this apartment complex, there was an atrium inside. I didn't pick up on it as an atrium. I picked up on it as like an indoor courtyard. So I was looking for indoor courtyards, open roof, but this was a closed roof thing. My friend happens to live in this town, which is why they were trying to find this. And he had recently been looking for an apartment. So he knew atriums were very hard to find. Like, there aren't many apartments that have indoor atriums. And he also knew that when you're looking for apartments, if the apartment you're looking at has an atrium, they're going to list it as an atrium. So he was able to watch the video and go, okay, cool, I have time to look now, and type in like apartment complexes with atriums in St. Louis. and he was able to figure it out within a few seconds. Meanwhile, I took 30, 45 minutes looking. If I had zoomed in one extra click, it would have popped up and I would have checked that area and probably confirmed that spot. But home field advantage is a thing. He's a geo-knower when it comes to his area. Just like if something were to pop up in the Atlanta area, I can pretty much know where it's at within seconds. Just like State Boys, B-O-Y-Z-Z-Z. Good channel here on YouTube that posts a lot of like State Patrol police chase videos. And Georgia State Patrol has a very... their record precedes them, I'll say that. They're very aggressive in their chase. And there are a lot of times that these videos will pop up. And within seconds I can be like, oh cool, like right around the corner is this place that I've only been once. And they go around the corner and it's this place I've only been once. So, you know, home field advantage works a lot for these things. But anyways, I'm going to shut up for a few minutes. I'm just going to zone into flying, give my voice a little break. It's been surprisingly non-stop chatting this entire time. So, if you all do have a question or you have something to say or comment, please feel free to. I'll see it down here on the phone. And I'll address it as we see it. But for right now, I'm just going to sit back, maximize speed, and enjoy the flight. Fascinated hiking and mountain climbing things recently. Funny, I actually just got it in the mail today, but I got a climbing harness in the mail. Not because I'm going to go climbing. I don't have the time to pick up another hobby like that at the moment, but going to keep me talking. But I'm getting a belt, a tactical belt, that has a D-ring harness on the front. And while the belt is capable of holding my weight, got a Cobra buckle, strong, certified, like the belt can probably hold up 1,000 pounds. Ridiculously strong, even shock load, you know, it's a very, very strong belt. They don't rate it as a weight rated belt because the testing process for it is ridiculous, and not many people are looking for it, and not many people care. And if they are buying one that's weight rated, they're usually spending $700-800 for a belt kit because these people went through the process of doing that. Anyways, watching a lot of Topo Traveler. I've seen their stuff, but I've never watched. But anyways, even if you get a belt that's weighted for your weight, if you're using it for something like rappelling or climbing, or in my case, riding in a helicopter with the doors off and like some sort of tactical stunt form, you want to have leg loops on. Now, when you hop online and you look up climbing harnesses, cheapest or the average Mammoth or Petzl or whatever is anywhere from like $60 to $120. They're not that expensive. Of course, prices go up, but on the cheap end, one that supports my weight and is a legit like lighter weight travel climbing harness is $67, something like that on Amazon. If you search just the leg loops and the pieces that attach to the front, and like the little keepers that kind of keep it in place on the back. And you put tactical on there where it's just those and there's no belt included. It's like $250. So what I did, I ordered this $65 Mammoth one, and I'm going to basically throw away the waist belt part because it's not permanently attached to it, but if you want to disconnect it, you're kind of ruining that whole harness setup. I just want it for the leg loops. And then I'm going to make my own little strap thing where I can connect it to the back of my other belt, because the keepers don't see anyway. They're just there to kind of hold your legs and the leg loops in place when it's off, and to kind of keep the back pulled up enough or whatever. Yeah, so I bought a $67 Mammoth Origin 3, Orion 3 something thing. Just came in today. Gonna go pick up the belt tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna go visit Sean for. He works at a belt place. And I'm going to cannibalize my brand new climbing harness to then adapt it to the tactical belt, so I can have magazines, med kit, pistol, dump pouch, everything, and I can run that on that. And then I'll have I ordered a retention strap or retention lanyard as well, which those get up in price too, just because you put the stupid word tactical and they go, okay, cool, anybody who's needing a tactical lanyard is going to have a department paying for it. And it's like, okay, cool, like tubed webbing is not $250 for a 2-foot length. That's where the strength comes from. The bungee's in there just to act as a shock absorber, so the bungee doesn't need to be rated for anything. And as long as you have the right, like, Kong brand clip or whatever on the end, you're good. Like, that's perfectly rated. So I found a cheaper company, which I hate to say, ooh, cheaper for safety related things. Yeah, but I'm paying for it out of my pocket. So I found one for like $70. It's the same webbing. It's the same brand name clip where you can clip it onto your interior mounting point in the helicopter. But I didn't get a clip on the other side. I have it as a loop on the other side so I can make it work with the leg straps and the belt part. I just found a crazy airport for future shenanigans. Chuckler Flats. Where is it? Sounds American. What's it known for? Nestled in a canyon that's steep on every side. Interesting. And it's a real airport? Like in real life? It's not just like something somebody made up and somehow snuck it into the sim? Okay, I'm going to need a little bit of altitude up here so we can throw a little bit of power in. Throw like, we do 100 foot per minute gain, we'll make it. Which, it's crazy, there's that story somewhere. I forget where this was, but I want to say like the 747 pilot dude. It's in Oregon. I'm probably not going to shenanigan it tonight, but remember that for a stream when I'm not running until 1 in the morning. Yeah, it wasn't a canyon, it was kind of like a bowl in between some mountains, but this dude had a couple of people with him, flew in there in his airplane, but once he entered, he was never going to get back out, and they crashed and died. Sad story, obviously. But yeah, like if your weight isn't right, if you have the wrong weather, you have the wrong wind, like if the wind's just constantly blowing and being a downdraft in this hole, like, you're not going to get out. And there's nowhere to land. You can't put it down. Like, you're going to meet a tree eventually. Even if you can just circle in there, like, you won't be able to climb out, which is just ridiculously sad. I'm gonna flag it or something. I feel like I've probably seen a video or something of it, because like something like that wouldn't exist without people posting about it, because it's such a unique or challenging place to get into. But so I assume it's a lower altitude, being that it's canyon walls. So I feel like you're not having like a field elevation of like 10,000 feet to where your density altitude is super, super high whenever you're there. It's probably much lower, so you can probably get a good bite of the air with like little cubs or even a turboprop something, being able to like get the power to climb out of it even with good forward airspeed. That's probably why it's not as popular or familiar sounding. Because like there are some airports that you hear about where it's like, okay, cool, like you have to know the approach and departure procedures to get out of there or into it, because they're very specific on the way that they can be accessible. Especially with planes. With helicopters, not as important. As long as you can do an out-of-ground effect hover at whatever altitude, you can get in and out more or less. And there are some times when that may not work, because maybe you just don't have the forward airspeed to get an out-of-ground effect hover where you're gaining any sort of meaningful altitude. Only one review on Google Maps. Interesting. Paved, or is it a dirt or like a grass runway? If we land before 1, which is probably not going to happen unless we get like a crazy tailwind or something, we'll jump over there and check it out. But I'm not thinking we will, just because we're basically pushing a 1 o'clock arrival time right now. But yeah, with a helicopter, even if you were to be stuck in a bowl or something where somehow you got in there and now you're just not going to be able to get out because of wind or weather, like, I feel like you could at least have a very slow, controlled descent into trees in a way where you could walk away from something. Or I can hit my ELT button here, go ahead and get people heading towards my way. Dirt runway. And then once I see somebody coming into the area, then slowly put her down. But then again, they probably wouldn't want to come in there just because of the same weather thing, so it'd probably be a hike-in sort of thing. Or they'd have to be in a much more powerful helicopter, which most likely they would be. If I'm privately flying in somewhere, I'm probably in a 44 or 22, being very limited, versus somebody that's flying pattern, I guess you could say, that we've seen going around the world so far, that everywhere that we've flown is almost distinguishable from everywhere else we've flown. Like every country, every region, everything has a very different feeling. Could I go back and pick most of the places we've been? Probably not, because it's been so long. It's been a 9-month journey so far. But they are very different. Definitely farming going on here with all the cuts on the ground, keeping it level. Like T or something. I know T is usually a mountain thing. VNBT. VIDF. Okay, I'll leave this to you, Mr. Georgia Spotting. Do we direct to VIDF, whatever's here, or do we go all the way up to VIDN. If we go to VIDN, I'm going to get there, say goodnight, turn off the computer. If we go to VIDF, which is just up here, then we'll go check out, and we'll do a quick shenanigan session at a Chunkler Flats, Chucklar. Either way, it's now midnight, so I'm happy either way. We've done a good leg today regardless. And the next one, regardless, whatever the next stream is for around the world, we will clear that India gap. So we'll probably hop in the 160 and set that up for speed and just blast across that chunk. Or if anybody else in here, got 7 people watching. If anybody else in here wants me to go all the way to Victor, India, whatever versus the other one, then we'll do that. But I'm almost feeling like we should jump off at Delta Foxtrot up here. And to go do a quick shenanigans, just to call it a night, not stay up too late. Different plateauish sort of hill here. Let's go up it real quick. Yeah, Delta Foxtrot right up here. I'm game for it. Let's do it. What a cool little weird plateau mountain thing here. Or just a cliff face that fell off over there. Okay, Delta Foxtrot, here we come. Super easy. Direct to 10 miles away. We'll do a shenanigan session over there real quick. I get to bed earlier, get my midnight snack. It'll be nice. And I haven't showered yet either. Did my workout, hopped on here, we'll shower after. Because usually like you'll sweat some just from sitting in the same place for 3 hours, so I don't like doing this after a shower. Victor, India, to Foxtrot, India. Ugh. Whatever, we're sleeping in the helicopter tonight. And we'll just walk on the tarmac to whatever our next helicopter is. We're not going to go off the airport. I said, I think that's country border right here, so I think we might be leaving Nepal. Am I right? Is Victor, India, Delta Foxtrot leaving Nepal? Would that be in India? Like I said, at this point, it doesn't matter to me. I know we were going to try to skip it once, but we'd already stopped and landed a couple of times in like one of their sub-states that I wasn't aware of. Dude, living out here, even though it's remote, it would be a completely different style of living to be out here, which is understood. Like, you're miles from anything, like you're more or less in a self-sufficient thing. You're not really bringing in things to your place. Like if you live down in that little town next to the river, like maybe in this little place that we're getting to up here, since they have a somewhat sizable India. Oh, cool. So we are in India. So we did make good progress today. So that's nice. So this is a sizable little town that we're going to up here. A lot of buildings and stuff on the thing. Not a nice town, probably, I would assume. The buildings don't look like they're super well developed. Those look concrete-ish. Weird, though. They're all curved. Or is that just a satellite? That looks curved to me. I may look into that after we land just because it looks so different. But, Man, it'd be such a different style of living out here. Even if this wasn't India, even if this was, let's say this was America, you know, so we're not limited in, I don't want to say third world, but a lot of India is still a very third world country. So even not being limited by third world resource type things, like living out here would still be so different. If there was a place that was this remote in America that was this intense of a geographic landlock, really. Like, there are roads out here, but it'd be hours to drive out here from like a near town or anything. But man, to have that view with the Hemis back there, jeez. I think you'd have a much different founded respect for God living in a place where you could see stuff like this all the time. My sound's gone. Did we just freeze this close? Oof. Fans kicked on the computer, that's for sure. Did it show that for you guys? Okay. Okay, we're back. Okay, cool. And also looking at the screen underneath my headset, it looked a lot more zoomed in and wiggly. But it looks much better on the screen for you guys. Anyways, here's the airport that we're aiming for. Yeah, it looks like they were built to match the topography, that's right. Looks weird. I'm going to look into this town. It just... so unique compared to like what we have. We're at 5,000 feet, so that's taken into consideration. We don't have as much bite as we do at sea level, but we have way more than we have most of our flight today anyways. So I'm not too worried about arresting or descent, especially here where I'm keeping 50 knots until I'm down near ground level. Then we'll just be slowing down. So we're down near ground level now, so now I'm going to start leaning back on my cyclic, which is this one here. Adding more collective. Well, they have a nice big helipad there. Cool. Thanks, guys. Although I'm not going to park there because that's kind of in the middle of y'all's ramp. But we are here. Not going to block fuel stand. I am kind of bummed that we missed Kathmandu, but I was not going to do an IFR dive into there. Not on my to-do list of things I want to do today. So we're going to take our... we got short again. Take that down to idle. Oh, fuck me. Don't you dare climb. You are set to idle speed. Here, you really want me to do that? Fuel valve off. Cool. It was not shutting down no matter what I did. It was not listening to anything. So anyways, engine's gone now. Yep. You don't want to pull more than that? Yeah, this particular model is really, really bad with sound and stuff like that. So anyway, Shift C, we can hop out. Not our helicopter anymore. Hey, there's the sound. It's back. So anyways, welcome to some airport. Somewhere in a town with curved buildings. We're not leaving airport property. We have a bag of American food in here. And we're going to stick with that because I don't trust these people. And I'm not telling them that I have beef in here either. So that's a very important thing. So anyways, thanks everybody for sitting through episode 59 of Fly Around the World in November 420 Foxtrot Whiskey for Fuckwagon. So yeah, we're going to go check out whatever this place is real quick. Oops, wrong button. End flight. VIDF. I left that marker there so I can kind of see where we're at. Okay, yeah, we did really good today. Because borders here, leaving India. I want to stop here, but whatever I looked at on my phone was not the name that was there, so whatever. Good stuff today. Oh no, borders up here. So we have another 2-hour jump to border. Then down here, we'll do this cross. We'll go up through here. And jump up here. Come up through Greece. Maybe do a little hop to Italy. Up. Up. It's going to be a long one because we're going to hit there, there, there. We can do from there to there. I think our pain in the ass one is going to be from... I think it might be here. Helicopter. Let's set this on full range real quick just to see what it looks like. Yeah, so that puts us over here. So we have a little bit of wind. Done. We can also hit this here. Some of these places. So that's very possible. So there's departure. So yeah, it puts some of these places in reach, which is down to Matt from 103, which is a very cool YouTube channel. You guys should check out. Okay, what's the ICAO code for Chunkler, whatever? So yeah, that's going to be our worst water hop. That's going to be a straight autopilot. I am not wiggling sticks the entire time with that. Sorry, don't care, didn't ask. It's because there's no... A shorter jump obviously would be here. But then also I'd have to get up there. And like that's a shortish cross from there to there, but it's just... It's a lot. I may do some off things measuring. But this is also globing it, so we're getting pretty accurate measurements. It's not like looking at a flat map. But there's just nothing up here Canada-wise to jump to, which is what makes that a huge pain. So it's going to be a like here to here sort of thing. Yeah, we'll do it this with a ferry tank. I'll set autopilot and then we'll do an North American food thing, and I'll have some food here and we'll eat and we'll chat and stuff on that day. Then of course, down, around, back over. And I think we may do a jump from here to here. And try to go as straight as possible. Maybe here, across, just to speed up. Whatever. Anyways, we're coming over here to Oregon now. We're gonna change time and make it daytime. Can't find that R codes. Okay, identifiers. Let me look on my Google. We'll start narrowing it out. CHUKAR. It's called Chukar Flats. Okay, other viewers, hold on there. Let's see, Lone Rock, Oregon. Okay, so east of Portland, out in that. Airport. Let's see, so Decker Ranch is in Kent. Okay, so this is close. Okay, so we're coming over from here. I think this is it right here. Let me double check what it looks like with all that. Yep. So that's it. Not marked as an airport here, but we're going to go check it out. Well, you want plane or helicopter, bud? Yeah, pick an aircraft. We'll take whatever it is, sight unseen, and see if we can smack it. Realistically, I'm not putting a 747 down there. We'll bush plane it. We'll helicopter it. Plane. Cool. We're looking at airplanes now. Let's see. Obviously, some sort of bushy SR-22. I think that's doable. SR-22T. Yep. Save and back. Really no approach set up. Let's take off. Bit more established airport. It says departure. Perfect, I like that. Start flight. No, some bush plane, X-Cub. Oh, too late, bud. Look, the SR-22 is quick. If we get out there and we can't land it, I'll come back in a Cub. Got so much pre-flight on this. There we go. Take the bra. What were you doing sitting in there? Idiot. Hope you suffocated. I don't need to wiggle anything. Sick. Shift C. Stupid stream delay. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's not a selector, it's just a thing. Okay, cool. We're looking at things here. Bat 1, Bat 2, alternators not worried about. Avionics, I'm going to turn those strobe on. Go with that fuel pump backup is on. Sick. No, I won't prime. One notch of flaps. Mixture rich. Happy with that. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. Let's see, my parking brake is... Looks good to me. Rolling start, clear for takeoff. Let's go. Dang, almost not enough room here. Rate is still positive. So continue we do. Mag checks don't matter. None of that matters. Flaps up.
Don't sink.
Sync rate, don't care. I think we're basically we'll be able to go straight in here. 14 nautical miles. Sick. Guys, welcome to real life helicopter pilot flies an airplane in stream. Is this what plane people do? They just sit here? Okay, I don't want to degrade my airspeed. I want to keep... a 1,000-foot-a-minute climb-ish. Yeah, taxi. That's why I do helicopter stuff. That's why I think about taxiways. Elaine, stop looking at the window. Everybody, if you're unfamiliar, this is Elaine, because she looks like Elon Musk. Yo, what's up, dude? About time you got in here. You missed the entire round-the-world bit of the stream. So now we're just goofing off. Don't look at me. Thank you. Oh yeah, and you're a busy guy. You got work and other things going on. And a cool channel to run. We were talking about you earlier. How you're going through the rebrand from the old channel name to the new channel name. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Good to see you here, dude. If anybody in the chat or whatever is looking for good real helicopter content, go to his channel. He's the best helicopter spotter on the planet. Oh yeah, dude, I'm excited to see a lot of the California stuff that you have. Those things are giant. Those CH-53s are just massive. Yeah, I know there were some videos that you post I just haven't got a chance to get to yet. But yeah, sorry, and you also popped in here while we're flying a freaking fixed wing thing. But it happens. Want to canyon blast a little bit.
500.
Oh, also, maybe I told you, I don't know if I messaged you, but I flew the 44, 715 Kilo Foxtrot the other day. That was my first 44 lesson.
500. 500. 500.
Shut up, I don't want to hear 500. I know. I'm literally flying in a canyon on purpose. Don't need to be berated about it.
500.
500.
500.
Yeah, it is wrong. Especially because you can see like the top left of the screen, I'm flying it with helicopter controls. So I'm still using throttle as throttle. But when I get on the ground, this will turn into my brake. Yeah, it's not fixed wing, it's stuck wing. There's nothing fixed about it. Okay, so jump in still the MD. Okay, 50% flaps in. Okay, we are 3 miles from it. Gonna start getting around here floating on our stall speeds. I'm gonna hit another notch of flaps. Full flaps. We need as little speed as possible. And I still have not seen this runway, so I don't know where we're going. Okay, this seems about right. I can adjust as we get over the ridge. This will be much easier in a bush plane. Five hundred. Does she know how annoying she sounds? So yeah, coming up the canyon would have definitely been the move. I don't know if this is landable, guys. Not because I have a bad angle or anything, but just because I don't think it's been resolutioned enough into a usable runway. Yeah, there's rocks and stuff here. I don't know if it's going to let us do it. Yeah, it killed me before we even started. Okay, let's try bush plane real quick. I also took probably the absolute worst approach. Let's see, set. Set as arrival. We're going to take off out of Decker. Set as departure, airborne, no, on ground, shut down like a man. The Cub Crafters, as I think that's that what it's under. X-Cub. Configure. We're going best possible scenario. Oh, wait a second. Configure. I saw something here. Did y'all see it? Come on. What are we frozen on? I don't know, chat. We may be cooked. My screen is frozen. I can still hear the noises. My mouse isn't moving. It's not letting me pop out of VR mode. If it kills it though, we're calling it a stream. Yeah, I think we're done. So anyways, guys, thanks for being here. It's been a fun stream. We'll have to come back to this airport in a Carbon Cub soon. And we'll do it with Big Wheel Carbon Cub. I saw that in the variant models or whatever. I can't even go to OBS to shut down. That's fun. Let's see if I can do Alt F4. Control Alt Delete. Nope, cancel. Control Alt Delete. Task Manager. Nope. I'm gonna have to just shut off the computer raw. But anyways, good night everybody. Thank you for being here. Super fun as always. And see ya. Watch me turn off the computer.